I know what you guys might be thinking. Where's my VN stuff? Where's my other series? Where's this series that you promised? I understand. I've been lagging a lot on other videos that I promised, live streams and whatnot. But last month of January has just been very, very stressful for a lot of different reasons. You guys know some reasons. Some of them are personal. Some of them have to do with my YouTube channel. Others have to do with just big things going down, especially towards the end of January. But hopefully February is going to be a lot better. So I'm actually doing my first podcast. I'm thinking of calling this the Main Character Podcast, MCPC Show. I'm going to have like a graphic. I'm going to commission my girlfriend or somebody to make an artwork, so it's going to look more professional. So if the audio is not that great or there's something going on with the podcast and I keep stuttering or whatever, this is my first time doing this. So bear with me and my unprofessionalism, whatever you want to call it. But I do have two guests. One of them you guys are familiar with somewhat. It's my brother.
Brony-chan, also like formerly known as just FGO Things and FGO Hall of Famer. I'm no longer under that name because I feel like I was being only subjective to post only FGO Things. I changed to Brony-chan just for more broader things because I'm getting more into Pokemon and Grand Blue. So I post those, merch flex, and mainly Rin, Tosaka stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys know him. He's the one that rolled for Space Ishtar, Ishtar, all these Ishtar-related stuff. And then I have my cousin.
I'm at DV Tenchi. Basically, that's me on Instagram. I post a lot of like idol community stuff and anime community stuff. Basically SoCal. So Southern California anime conventions. I go to events and concerts sometimes too. Sometimes I even post videos of me dancing. So if you're into that, check it out. But of course, I post about Fate too whenever I can. Yeah.
Yeah, so links will be in the description and in the comments if you guys just want to check them out, as well as check out my Instagram, which I don't really post that much, at the Mongrel Character, or my Twitter if you want to follow me there, or if you want to join the Discord chat where you guys could just chat with me on a casual basis, then I'm available there as well. Again, links in the description and in the comments. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about like mainly Fate Grand Order related stuff because I know that's what a lot of you guys subscribe to my channel for. We don't really have an idea how we're going to go about it. We're just going to kind of spitball and talk and all that good stuff. So if you want to stick around and just listen to what we have to say, yeah. I know some of you guys are curious about how I got it started with the Fate series. A lot of you guys started with a variety of different ways. Some of you guys started with the first anime that came out in 2006. Some of you guys started even way before with the visual novels. A lot of you, just like myself, definitely started with Fate Zero, Unlimited Blade Works, and then Grand Order. But my brother has the more solid facts because I don't really remember everything to the T. Apparently he does. So if you want to talk about that, then he has the mic right now.
Okay, so let's just get some things straight here. Like for the most part, when me and my brother watch anime, I'm normally the one that just puts it on TV, whether we're watching it on Crunchyroll or I just randomly find it on YouTube or on Netflix. So I guess one day we just started watching, I can't remember exactly the date, like episode 0 of Fate Zero. Like we watched the whole thing and probably just like everybody else that watched it, we were really confused.
We watched the first episode of Fate Zero, and if you guys know the first episode of Fate Zero, it's just a shit ton of dialogue, a lot of big words that the casual fan will not understand.
Yeah.
And I also get that technically you're not supposed to start Fate Zero if you're trying to get into the Fate series. You're supposed to play the visual novels and then go to Fate Zero because it's a prequel that has a bunch of spoilers and elements that you will not understand unless you play the visual novel. I understand. So that's kind of our bad for not doing that, I guess. But I'm not really a visual novel player, and I'm willing to bet that most people probably aren't. If you're just sitting down watching anime, have a bowl of popcorn, you're not trying to download a visual novel online and play through it, which is like, I believe, 26 hours each route. So I don't know who has... Actually, no, it's like 45 hours from what I heard, depending on how fast you read. So definitely, and again, that's our first exposure to the Fate series with Fate Zero, so I didn't even know there was a visual novel to begin with, but we dropped it, right?
Yeah, more or less, we honestly gave it a break because I want to say the whole reason why we got into Fate Zero is because me and my cousin here, we started, like, I wanted to start Fate Zero just for the sole reason because we got into an anime card game called White Schwartz.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it had series such as, like, at the time, it didn't have that many. It only had Madoka, Bakemonogatari, Sword Art, Fate, Disgaea. It was only those 5 series.
Had Love Live as well.
Yeah. Oh, and Love Live.
That was the biggest one.
I can't believe I left out Love Live. Yeah, that was the biggest one. And I wanted to play the Fate Zero deck because I was like, okay, Saber looks cool. Like, and I know, and she's kind of iconic at that point. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to play this deck and not understand who these characters are. And that's how we got into Fate Zero.
See, I didn't even take that into account because I never played Weiss. I'm not really that big into card games or like competitive games at all. So like I guess technically the way I started Fate was through Weiss in a weird sort of twist of events, but yeah, I don't know exactly when we started committing into the series. Like
so like I think it was like at Anime Expo 2014 when we went to the Kill la Kill event for Air Aoi, the concert. She sang the ending song for Fate Zero, Memoria. And I remember seeing the video that was playing right next to, the screens, and one of the screens next to her while she was singing. And we see, like, like all the servant statues and basically the ending credit video.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at it and I was like, oh man, like this looks really cool. And the song is really, really good. Like, it ended up being one of my favorite, like, songs, like, ending songs of anime, like, all time. Because that song is just, like, really beautiful.
Yeah.
So, because of that, I wanted to hear more. And I had no idea even Lisa was involved and stuff like that, too. And so, like, yeah, when I was watching, we started watching because of that, mostly.
Like, for sure, that whole Anime Expo 2014 was, like, the big reason. Because we also went to, like, a Good Smile Company panel afterwards. Well, not afterwards, like probably one of those days afterwards. And I guess I remember one guy saying like, "Oh, please don't stop making sabers." Like,
don't stop making Saber and Nendoroids
like,
figures.
Yeah. So and like up to this day, like they're not stopping. So yeah. And of course, Unlimited Blade Works was like being promoted like everywhere, and we were like, okay, if we want to get into this, we have to finish Fate Zero.
Yeah, we were already basically exposed to the hype of what Fate was.
Yeah.
So like all the fans were like supporting it, and they were releasing so many things with it. Weiss Schwartz, new series, a new studio, Ufotable was like carrying it on their shoulders. Yeah. So we were pretty interested already, and thanks to that that's how it all started, basically.
Yeah, that's how I guess all of us got exposed to like this, whether it's in conventions or just being on social media. Like for me, I just remember like looking at Nendoroids on like Amazon or something, and I see, you guys already know I'm a big fan of this character Gilgamesh, and I just see his Nendoroid and I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like I remember specifically looking at his character and just being like, what's going on with this character? But I didn't know like 5 years down the road or whatever it is, that he would be like my favorite character of all time. So it's just a weird thing looking back at it and just seeing where everything went from there. But yeah.
I mean, that AX too was actually pretty special because it was kind of our first AX, right?
That's true. Yeah, it was our
very,
AX.
very first AX. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then since then, well, I haven't missed an AX, so it's like
I haven't missed one either.
I missed one.
Yeah,
you missed last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So and almost like every year we would see all the Fate stuff, and we'd attend those things, and we'd stay up to date with anything that's happening Fate related at Anime Expo. Like the FGO USA tour happened to stop at AX.
We went to both FGO USA tour and the Anime Expo FGO USA tour. So, that's why like when people like fans online or like I haven't met people like this in person yet. I'm sure I will the more I get exposed to the community and the more I engage with it. But this is why like it's just weird when people online are like, oh, you're not a real fan because you didn't start with the visual novel. And I'm like, I feel like I'm like, I don't know what constitutes a real fan at that point, because I feel like if I'm investing this much time, money, and like just like energy into the series, like attending these events, buying the merch, obviously I have a channel engaging with other fans that like the series. I feel like even though I didn't start with the visual novel the correct way, quote unquote, I feel like I'm still a pretty big fan of the series. I don't know.
I mean, we've again, we've attended everything.
That's what I'm saying.
We've pretty much, I would say maybe about combined like maybe like
Right.
80% of our wallets have all gone like to
Exactly.
Oh, yeah,
you know, like, so I mean,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
just,
I wouldn't use that as a
yeah, it's just weird when I see those comments. That's or like people
And-
like not even just
yeah.
comments, just people on like Twitter or Instagram, people posting like shit posts, talking shit to filthy casuals and stuff like that. I never understood that because if you're a fan, you're a fan. That's how I see it. If you're into the series, if you like the characters, the story, whatever it is, voice actors, music, animation, like you're a fan. I don't think there should be like a tier of fans. I mean, and it's also one of those things. I understand that not everybody could afford to go to these events and whatnot. I'm not trying to say I'm better than other like fans just because they couldn't attend the events because you live in here or you don't have the money, whatever. Same thing with visual novel players. You guys shouldn't judge us or other people because not everybody has the time. Not everybody has like a computer or anything to download the visual novel, and it's also weird too because technically the visual novel was never officially translated, so you have to go out of your way to download it like it's a fan translation. So technically like you're like stealing in a way. I don't want to say anything like because obviously I'm thinking like you guys know my series, but I'm just saying like it's just there's different factors and different perspectives, I'm sure. So that's all it really is. That's how I see it, the fan base and whatnot. So
yeah, there really is no like actual like tier of being a fan. Like there really are just like elitists out there that want to like make sure that people know their place, quote
yeah,
unquote.
yeah. That's how I feel. Like they just want to feel superior for some reason. I don't know what's going on in their personal life, what's going on, whatever.
It's really just probably like the length of time that they've spent
Right.
with the series. So they're like, oh, I've been here for 15 years. You know, like it's like kind of a boomer mentality in a way.
I mean,
like
yeah, I see. Like, I mean, you should definitely take pride in that if you've been a fan of the series since day one and seen the evolution.
yeah, that's
Like,
okay.
that's cool, but like, don't use it as like a weapon or a tool to put other people down because that's how you don't get new people into a series. That's not what you do. If you want somebody to get into a series, you gotta approach them with respect and just be cool about it. Don't be a dick, you know.
Like I get it. Like even amongst our friends, like we would joke around and with each other and like be like feel like, oh yeah, I'm better than you. I got this. I got that. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like that's okay. It's just like when you meet someone for the first time, or if you see someone online on social media posting about how much they love something, and you for some reason feel the need to just attack that person for no real reason. It's just there's really no point in that. You know.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it just really is like an elitist mentality is just something that I will never fully understand, but it is something that we can stop.
Yeah, yeah. And I just want to ask this question to both of you guys because obviously I'm fully invested into Fate. Not saying you guys aren't, but like I'm not like really invested into other series. You guys are. So I just want to know if there's any series where you would see this kind of thing go down. Like, oh, you should, the visual novel was better, or like the manga stuff like. Oh, well, I see that all the time, to be honest. But,
Yeah,
like,
the manga.
For me, I would say the idol community is extremely not necessarily toxic, but it can get to that level. I know a lot of people have had the blessing, I would call it a blessing to go to like Japan and see the concerts live, and I know they like to come back and they like to, go to the concerts at like AX or anything local, and they're like, man, this is nothing compared to going to Japan, or this is, like you guys don't know how to do the calls, or like, if you know what calls are, like, yeah, they're the chants that they use for idol concerts with the light sticks and stuff. That's basically what a call is. So, they're bashing what people don't know here. I mean, we live in America. Obviously, it's not a norm here for people to know those things, and for them to just, like, have the greatest opportunity to go see these amazing artists live in their home country as well, and to come back and just not be very supportive of their own peers. I mean, at one point they were the same person.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta look at it that way. I mean, you're here, and those guys go to Japan, and then all of a sudden they're better. Like,
yeah,
that's not exactly Right.
Like,
It's incorrect.
You could say, like, for example, you could say you're more experienced or you've seen more things, but again, just don't use those things as a way to put other people down and to put yourself up, because there's really no point in
And
doing
it's also
that.
like a merch flex too. Like I know a lot of people love to flex what they have, and they think, yeah, I'm the number one fan of this particular character, and like stuff like that. Like, I mean, obviously, good on them. Like if they've gathered so much merch, and like they like to post about it and stuff, that's great. But that's one thing,
Yeah.
But to like use it to again attack someone, it's especially when that person is I like if you're a fan of something, everyone that is a fan of that same thing should be equal to you. Whether you have this one thing, and then and the other person has many things.
Yeah.
But people will never see it that way. They just love using their merch flex or going to Japan, etc., like as a way to just be like, I'm on top, you're in the bottom. Like that's not the right mentality, especially for any community. Like it's not the correct mentality to have, especially if you want to like socialize and like even like make some kind of like bond or friendship with people. It's not a good way to not only have them like not as good, as much as like an intro to the like community for them, but like like it's not they're gonna definitely not feel good hearing that from someone, especially if like that person also looks up to you.
Oh yeah.
Like if that person looks up to you and they're like, oh man, this guy has so much merch. I want to learn from him. This guy went to Japan. Maybe one day I can go with him, And then all of a sudden this guy's like, you never went to Japan, or you don't have this much merch.
Yeah.
I'm better than you. Like, why should I hang out with you? You know? And that's just so wrong on so many levels. But it really is something that we will never fully understand, but can change.
Yeah, and
that's the basic fact. So,
which is funny because you mentioned merch flex a lot, and I know you brought up how you have merch flex on your Instagram, and how you kind of pride yourself as like this huge Rin Tosaka fan, Ishtar, Rishgal, Kane Ueda, kind of in general. So I just like want to know your take on that whole thing, because
of course, of course the difference is I don't really I don't put people down on that.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. In fact, I'm really happy that there's other people that love this character just as much, and probably somewhere in the world more than I do. It doesn't make sense to like have like a T-shirt Cold War over this, like kind of thing.
T-shirt Cold War.
Yeah, like, oh, I have more stuff than you. I met this a voice actress, but you didn't. Like I'm the real Rin Tosaka fan or something like that. But God forbid, I never met anyone like that online or in real life.
Yeah, and like when you post your merch flexes, it's not like you don't tell you only like you're kind of like telling yourself, oh yeah, I'm the best, like like I have all this stuff, but you're not telling someone else.
Yes.
Like oh, you don't have this, so I'm better. Like that's what I'm talking about. That's bad.
I think it definitely goes back to like just being respectful about it, and like the way you go about it, because like if we're gonna go back to the whole visual novel thing, like if you like, let's say I met somebody who wants to get into the Fate series, for example, they're interested, they were exposed with all these events, all the social media hype, just everything, and they were like, oh, I'm thinking about getting into the Fate series, I know you're into it, like how would you go about it? Like, I mean, like, I never started with the visual novel, like I said, but theoretically, let's say I did start with a visual novel like years ago. I'm that type of person. Like, I'm not gonna go like to this person and be like, yo, if you want to be a real fan like me, you want to start this series correctly and not be a filthy casual like all these other people, then don't start with Fate Zero, don't start with Bladeworks, start with a visual novel. You have to download it here on Reddit. This guy posted it like 2 years ago. You got downloaded through Google Docs and like extract it to your file folder. It's like, I don't know, that kind of impression, I feel like will unmotivate that person to start the series. You know, it's like, oh wow, okay, well, my bad, shit. I thought this was like just like I gotta watch an anime and then I could get started with that, but okay. And like it just depends like how you go about it, because I could definitely go to the person and be like, hey, if you want to get more context about the series, then you could start it with the visual novel. But I know some people started with Fate Zero, so you could probably start with that and see where it goes. And you could also download Fate Grand Order. You don't necessarily have to play the visual novels or watch any of the anime to get into Grand Order. It has its own real little story. It just shares a lot of elements with the anime and whatnot. So it truly depends on how you go about it. Just
like I guess
respectful.
like if I may, like I do have another like example. I know for a fact that a lot of people love to bash me for this sometimes, but it's like
On Instagram?
not on Instagram, but like it was more so before actually. People don't do it now, but I remember people bashing me for liking Sword Art Online, right?
Okay.
And
yes.
how people would just like be like, you like Sword Art Online? Like, how the hell do you like? You should watch Attack on Titan, right? And like, what that did to me was it made me more so hate Attack on Titan
Exactly.
than want to even like give it a chance.
Because
I did give it a chance, but I came in already like salty, you know, like watching it, and I'm like judging every little thing that it had because of that one person. Because I was like, you know what? Since this person's praising it so well, I'm gonna like put my standards high.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I started being, you know, as you could call it petty, but at the same time, I had a taste of salt in my mouth watching this thing. So, you know, and since then I haven't been, you know, even talking about Attack on Titan. Like I don't really care. I'm actually all caught up with Sword Art Online. So like.
Yeah,
so that's another example. Like I'm not gonna get into Attack on Titan because of that one person. That one person kind of ruined it all for me. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, you should watch it." And I agree. I think I should watch it, and I think I should read the manga again because I actually did read the manga too, just so I could give it a shot because I was like, you know, I don't want to be unfair too.
Right.
But I mean, again, people's words can cut like a knife. Like it can change an entire like perspective like that. So
yeah. And there's the whole like argument of like, oh well, you shouldn't be that sensitive. Like, why is this generation so sensitive? Blah 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 blah. But it's one of those things. Like that's kind of your first impression of that series, like inadvertently, with like this toxic fan or those words. So like, him watching Attack on Titan, he's thinking in his head about that guy, about that encounter. He's not thinking about the characters. He's not thinking about the story, the plot, whatever. He in his head, that's what's going on. The echoing of those guys' words or that person's face or whatever. So it's a horrible first impression because it's hard to get that out of your head. So that's happened to me for sure with a lot of series, a lot of things. Not even just anime, just in general, like just everything.
Like it's totally understandable. Like for me, Steins Gate is the best anime of all time, right?
Alright, yeah,
like you know, like and it's totally understandable. Like some people can come at me like, "Oh, but Brotherhood, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is better," or Code Geass is so much better.
Code Geass.
Yeah, you know, you know, like, I'm like, okay, like that's great, and like, I don't know, like it's just like, don't acknowledge that person because that just be like, oh, you know, I've heard Steins Gate's good, yeah, you know, like something like that would like actually be better than saying, oh, but you know what's better, you know, like, and then telling them, and then, you know, like, because this person's genuinely trying to have a conversation with you, you know, this person's genuinely trying to tell you, hey, you know, like, especially if he starts off the conversation like that, or if you ask that person, especially if you ask that person what their favorite anime is, you have to be open-minded, not be ready to attack them.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like if you're interviewing someone, right? Like if you ask that person a question and you're ready to just attack, that's extremely hurtful. Like you have to be open-minded and like hear what they have to say and take it all in. Yeah, so if I talk to you and say, "Hey, Steins Gate is amazing," like, and then you tell me, yeah, but Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, you know, like, it's literally the greatest anime of all time, and if you see, like, it's number 1 on my anime list, blah, 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 and it's just like, okay, thanks, like, I guess whatever I just said is invalid. Like, you just completely switched it, and now I have no say, because since I don't know Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I kind of don't know what the best anime ever is.
Yeah, it's like it's taking a neutral or positive situation and just somehow making it negative in some like form or fashion, just making the whole vibe just messed up. And that's just talking about in-person conversations. If we're talking about social media, it's a lot worse because a lot more like people don't give a fuck online. That's just how it is. People are more straightforward. People are a lot more disrespectful online just because they have that mask, that social media mask, that profile pic they could hide behind, that fake profile name, and all that stuff. And that's cool. You can have all that, but like people are fake online. That's just how it is. And then people will be more direct with how they feel about certain things. Like I don't know, because for me, I have never met, like at least for me, I have not met anyone in an Anime Expo or FGO USA tour or even like at school or anything that was that bad. But then online it's like almost all the time. So it's just weird that like I'm surrounded by all these people in real life in like conventions and whatnot. And for the most part a lot of them are cool. Like okay, they might have their own problems in different ways, but not in that sense of the way. But then online it's like all these elitists, all these people that want to push their series and push other people down, and their way of doing things. It's just.
And again, you have every right to have your own opinion. You have every right to like what you like. There's no problem with that, and if you want to hide behind a screen, that's okay too. It's just think about the other person is basically what we're trying to say. Like the other person is like was once you, a long time ago. Whether it was
you were once that person. Yeah.
Whether if it's the same series or not, you were once like that. And imagine you trying to be in their shoes, and then someone does that to you. How heartbreaking that is.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess this is a kind of decent transition because I know for you, Erwin, there's been a lot of conflict with you in the community, the fake community.
Oh yeah.
Just and I know you just outright hate the elitists at this point, which is fine. I understand. Like, I don't like them either. So, like, I mean, if you want to talk... Because you used to be FGO Hall of Famer on Instagram. And I used to post your tag on my videos, like, when you would show up. But now you're not FGO Hall of Famer. So when people go back and watch those videos and click the link, it's just going to be invalid because it's not even going to lead to who you are right now being at Brony-chan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, if you could... Like, if you want to...
Well, for sure, it's just me, like, just... Like I said earlier, I just want to... post more broader things. I don't want to be restricted to just Fate, like for sure, because like would this be a good transition to like the group? Because like that,
I mean
we'll
talk about that, but like
because I don't want to be restricted just talking about one thing, because then if like the Fate series, like right now I still love it, like it will probably still be number 1 or at this rate number 0, because Rin's just holding it for me, like, but it really is just the elitist.
It's a combination.
Like
of a lot
at this,
things.
like it's a combination of too many things. I want to get too many series. It doesn't help that these know-it-alls like hiding behind the screen, eating potato chips on their keyboard, like they're just typing away, like what you said earlier, making themselves feel better and not really thinking about anybody else online. They want to get their 25 cents in and then that's it. Like, and some of those comments do hurt. Like for sure. Like when like again, probably the biggest example. Like when Space Ishtar came out, okay. I was probably the 1% that was truly hyped that she came or we were gonna get her. But then everyone else like said, "Oh, we don't get a damn Halloween event." Like, "Oh, da 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 da." Well, that's like I understand. Like right now I understand. But then I'm like, to just straight up like not give this event a chance or not give this character a chance, like what the hell?
Okay,
like,
I mean, if you want to talk about that, we could talk about that because you know how I feel about that.
well, okay, I get it. Like we were breaking tradition. Like
it's not even that. There's
we broke. Well, here's another thing that we broke tradition with. We didn't get a Christmas rerun event.
Well, that was afterwards.
That was afterwards.
I'm just saying in general, DW is kind of fucking up.
But I'm like,
game.
nobody batted an eye. But then everybody, in terms of the Space Ishtar...
No, people have.
Yeah, but I'm like, it wasn't as big as the Space Ishtar thing. Like, for sure it wasn't. Because the Space Ishtar thing, like...
Well, because we got used to the idea of DW doing different shit. That's why.
Yeah,
because the Halloween thing was first, and then the Christmas rerun just kind of happened, and we were like, oh, okay, that happened. Interesting way to end the year, I guess. and I don't know what DW's plan with the game is as far as like events, seasonal events specifically. No Christmas rerun, as you guys might know, with JP, and then no new Halloween event, and then they replace it with an event that doesn't even give a free servant. So that was just my whole thing. With that, like if you're gonna replace the Halloween event, replace it with an event that would give something of equal value, aka a free servant. But it didn't. So it was just weird to me. That was just my whole thing with it. It had nothing to do with Space Ishtar. That's I don't know if you have an opinion with that, but like
honestly, I mean you already know I
Yeah.
haven't
Oh,
been
yeah,
very
yeah.
active with this game at all.
Yeah.
But what it sounds like to me, it's just another like a group of people just being salty again, and I get it. I get it too that like we're so used to the norm of seeing a Halloween event and
yeah.
stuff like that. But again, I'm not gonna lie. The Halloween event for me was getting old because of Elizabeth. And
I said that. I said that.
I didn't want to see another Elizabeth again. So when I saw Space Ishtar, I remember seeing her and I was like, oh shit, they actually did something new, like something different.
Yeah.
And for me, I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't hate it.
The previous year was Caster Shuten, but like I do understand. Like I remembered for the second year of Halloween event. I guess we're gonna be talking about this now, at least for a little bit. When they released a new Bathory, was a Bathory Brave, and I was just like, okay, a new Bathory. That's kind of why. Can a new servant get the spotlight? And then the third year rolled around, and then we get Bathory Mech, and I was just like, what the fuck is happening with this
Yeah.
game?
Okay,
So-
well, to be fair, it was already already confirmed it was gonna be a trilogy at that point.
It was
Like- like the
they called
second-
it
like
a
the-
trilogy, like in the second year. They didn't establish that in the first year. I don't think. I at least I don't think. You guys could correct me.
And again, like I for me, like I was just happy to see something different.
Exactly.
Like, again, like the Halloween event, it's fun.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah.
I liked all the candy and stuff like that, and like
Yeah.
the servants that they released for the gacha.
No, yeah, for real.
But I mean, again, like seeing the same character like 3 years in a row kind of like was making me a little like I was expecting it for the fourth year, but I mean again it didn't happen, but I mean it's just like
Yeah.
I was expecting it, and
Yeah.
that's how it was like already like going downhill for me, because like I was like there was no surprise for me, like, and even if Shuten came out like as the free servant, I was like again, like
I'll be honest, I was a bit disappointed too, just because of this class, but that's besides the point.
yeah, but like no, but like even then, like I was just like okay, like
Yeah.
Well,
if anything, I might have been, I don't know, when looking back, I might have been disappointed that it wasn't Bathory. Like,
Oh, yeah?
No, because like it's like because
Okay.
you're so used to it now.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like when Space Ishtar rolled around, like all of a sudden, like these bandwagoners that hated Bathory were like, "Oh my god,
Well,
Bathory, come back,
All
save
right.
the event."
Well,
like,
the
Halloween
thing,
needs to come back.
the thing
Bathory.
is, my main point was like there was no free servant. That's all. If you're gonna replace the event, give us an event with a free servant. It doesn't have to be Halloween. It doesn't have to be scary or anything. It could have been something
There's no
completely
free
out
servant?
there. Yeah, no free servant for the Space Star event.
God
Again,
damn.
he hasn't been keeping up with the game, so like he's hearing this like what the fuck. So like yeah.
I'm like the unbiased here, but
Yeah.
I have been a long time player.
Yeah,
Like-
he's been playing since before me, and that might sound surprising to you guys because
Yeah,
you guys,
so I have
Yeah.
been a long time player. I just have not been active as
Uh-huh.
much.
yeah.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of this is news to me also. So
So again, that's my whole point.
Well-
no
well,
free
yeah.
servant. What the fuck?
Well, yeah,
So-
all I could just say is like the event was for babies. Like literally anybody can do it in a day.
That's fine, but like, don't
Like,
replace.
wouldn't that be worse?
No, I mean, well, now I'm gonna attack these people that said that are gonna skip the fucking event. Like, shut up! You weren't gonna skip the event. You just wanted 25 cents, and for all we know, behind that screen, you're playing.
He's talking about people that's like, oh, it's a Spacious Star event. I don't like it, sure. I'm not gonna play the event. Like, that's for a lot of situations, not even just Grand Order.
But isn't Space Ishtar? She wasn't even free.
No, she wasn't free.
Okay, then
No, but the event itself was free.
Like he's
Oh.
saying it's free as in it was easy, which it was, but like at the same time,
for me, there's no motivation to play.
Yeah,
them.
well, for sure, yeah. there
yeah,
was
that's
no
what I'm
motivation.
saying. Like, what? Why? I don't understand. like-
especially for me, because again, I haven't been active. Like,
Okay,
if
yeah.
you were to tell me like Attila was in that shit, and I'd be like, I'm hopping in. Like
Hey, it
hell
took
yeah.
place in space. I don't know. They could have done so much with it, but
Oh fuck, you're right. But that's okay. I don't care. But I'm just like, oh damn, you shouldn't have said that. But no, but like, I mean, at the same time, it's like, there was like, yeah, I understand like I guess both sides in a way, it's just like, I don't know. I guess it was like a very shitty like October. I guess.
Towards the end of the year, it was just very weird because then Christmas came by, or Christmas season, like December, late November, and we were like, okay, where's the rerun of last year's Christmas, the one with Quetzalcoatl? Didn't happen. They released the new chapter, which like a lot of people were cool with, but I don't know. It was just weird that they did that, you know?
It just kind of like wrote off 2019 as like nothing.
Yeah.
Because like FGO used to be like oh man, I can't wait for the Halloween event.
Exactly.
I can't wait for Christmas. Summer's coming around. You know, but they're not gonna stop with summer.
They're not gonna stop summer. I know that.
If they ever stop summer, I know people are gonna ape shit.
Because people were worried. Some people were commenting on my live stream and whatnot, like asking like, "Yo, what if they don't do summer?" I'm like, they're not gonna do that. That's
there's no
one
way.
of the events where they make the most money because of tits and ass. They're not.
Yeah,
gonna
there's
stop.
no way.
There's no way.
Yeah. And I mean, and any servant could be in the summer pool, so it's
it's easy.
like
It's easy stuff.
Yeah, it's easy for any fan of any servant can be very happy with that summer event.
Exactly.
And like people who just got into, they it's cool because the summer event releases all the other servants from before as well. So it's like people are gonna be like, oh man, like I missed out on Melt Lilith. And then,
with the reruns. Yeah, exactly.
So then people are gonna be like, wait, no, you could wait until next summer, and they're like, oh wait, what? And it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that is a decent worry. Is like, what if they stop reruns because they didn't do the Christmas rerun?
Yeah.
So if they stop reruns altogether, that would be kind of weird. Well, it would be really weird, but I don't know.
We'd probably have another podcast about that.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if it's summer. Yeah. I would be here. I'd be like,
I know.
Honestly, it's funny too. It's kind of ironic because my polls for summer are always shit. Like, So, but I mean, I would still be mad because I'm like, I love seeing these servants in swimsuits.
I know.
Like, I mean, come on, it's great.
Yeah, a lot of the fun is just like seeing what comes out, seeing who's free, seeing this and that, who's the artist, like their take on this character.
And
I don't know.
God, like DW better do a fucking Attila or else something.
If you guys couldn't tell, he's like, is it safe to say Attila's your favorite servant?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah.
Just because of Huke. Huke is the artist that drew Attila.
Yeah.
So, or Altera, whatever name you guys prefer.
Which is the artist for Steins Gate. Your favorite,
Steins Gate. Yeah,
which you
Black
just
Rock
said,
Shooter.
Yeah.
I actually met him at AX too. So I mean, I'm like, that guy is my boy. So whatever he does, whatever he draws for Fate,
You see what he did there? He said he met him, and he didn't say he was better than every other fan. He just said he's my boy. He just said he's my boy. That's it. He didn't say, oh, I met him. Oh man, like I feel like a certified G. Like no, he didn't say that.
No.
See, exactly. That's how you guys go about it when you are flexing your little things. Be humble about it, and don't put other people down. That's it. So going back to that, I guess. But yeah, again, summer's gonna be a thing. That's definitely not gonna be something I'm gonna skip on. So I don't know, cause like I'm always the one I feel like that's getting riled up by all these events. I've been complaining about the like multiple events for years. Like I don't know what would get you to start like getting riled up, because I don't know. Like, well, if they release like a shit ton of Gilgamesh stuff, would you start getting pissed?
Oh well, yeah. Because here's the thing, like, okay, like maybe people are gonna look back at this podcast and probably take this the wrong way, like. During that stretch, like, even I'll say, like, the end of 2019 was pretty bad, and it's unfortunate timing that it happened to be around the time where Ishtar was getting a lot of shit. She took over Gil's event. She did, yeah. She got a reanimation. She got this whole space event.
Well, granted, Gil got a reanimation too, but, like, the point...
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is people, like, shitted on Ishtar for that whole time, and I feel like this is just me speculating, or just me like see this is me now. This is my perspective of the fan base. Like I feel like if somebody that everyone loves, like Gilgamesh, Jalter, would get like around like all that shit, that the same shit that Ishtar got, nobody would bat an eye. In fact, they would probably throw parades and all that. Like that's my perspective now.
Okay,
like, because I feel like it's just fun to like shit on Ishtar at this rate.
I guess, well, it's always been.
It's
for
always
years.
been fun.
But I guess for a general timeline, because like again, like you don't keep up with like a lot of the news and stuff.
No, I don't.
So like, if you guys remember 2018, we got Battle in New York, which is pretty much Gilgamesh's event, Gilgamesh Fest. That's what people call it. Then the following year, which was last year, we got Battle in New York Part 2, which was Gilgamesh's event again. Midpoint through the the event, I think a week in, when they started releasing more quests and more story and whatnot, Ishtar takes over and it became Ishtar Fest. Like it changed the banner, the title changed, everything changed, and like that was cool. I was like, that's a nice twist to things, and then like
a lot of fans probably took offense to that.
Yeah, there's that, and then she also got like a quick reanimation kind of. She also got a rate up, right? Like shortly thereafter.
But that was like to promote the Babylonia.
Okay,
anime,
yeah.
too.
See, so
But
like,
that's why all that I feel like was
no,
to promote Babylonia.
again, that happened, and then we were expecting Halloween right after the new Halloween event. Well, I think afterwards was the Halloween rerun with Chutencaster, and then the new Halloween event. But instead of a new Halloween event, we got the Space Ishtar thing.
That
so
all happened within the month.
that's what I'm saying. Everything, like the reanimation, a raid up, taking
shit.
over Gilgamesh Fest, and then a Space Star event came out, and it was just weird. And then I don't know, it felt like a lot of milking was going on, which is fine. They can milk whoever character they want, especially if it's popular. But at the same time, within a month.
I mean,
like,
let's just ignore the fact that earlier that year they milked Sakura. Like we'll just ignore that. Like we'll ignore like the whole Fate Extra CCC. We'll ignore Kama. We'll just ignore all that. And we'll just attack Ishtar.
I don't know.
Like that's how I really felt. Like
that was just one servant though, Kama.
Like. And everyone's like, oh, because they're promoting Heaven's Feel. Ishtar, we're promoting Babylonia, an anime that's gonna air like every fucking week. Like, why? Okay, again, nobody batted an eye towards the soccer faces, and in fact, we got a soccer face for fucking summer. And
well, you were happy about that.
Yeah, I was happy about that for sure. But of course, I expected Summer Irish, if anything, because Ishtar.
I was expecting Summer Irish.
Like, I feel like everyone was, or just an Irish anything. Like,
no,
and here's the thing too. If it was an Irish anything, I think people would have taken that.
I was
more
gonna
to
say
light.
that. I think people would have appreciated that more, to be honest.
Like if it was if it was Ishtar taking over, but then instead of like Space Ishtar, we got something Erishkigal, like a pumpkin Erishkigal, then maybe people would have been okay with that, or a Space Erishkigal. I'll even stretch that out, like as well.
Yeah, there were a lot of Erishkigal fans that were wondering where the hell were the Erishkigal stuff. But
yeah, like,
see, there's a lot of sides to it. I'm just on the side of like that's way too much stuff for one character. Like if you're gonna promote a series, I mean, there's other characters in that series. I don't know. That's just my whole take on it.
Arash, Merlin, and
Arash, Merlin, Medusa, Lily, if they want to. Quetzalcoatl got the Christmas thing. That's cool. But the whole point is that there's other characters. Like it doesn't even have to be Gil. Enkidu doesn't get anything at all.
If I do remember correctly, back then when they were when we were at Babylonia in the actual app, not the anime, like when it came out as
like
a chapter.
Way back then, like 2016.
Yeah. If I do remember, I remember when they did release Ishtar, and it was a huge deal.
Yeah,
like
because
it was.
That's probably why they're promoting it, is because like when I remember the Babylonia arc, I do remember Gilgamesh, but I remember Ishtar popping out of nowhere.
Yeah, because she came out before the chapter was even out. It was a Christmas event.
Yeah, she came out for Christmas, and then she was in the trailer for Babylonia. It was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so when that happened, I think that's the reason why I would, hearing all this now, I'd still be okay with it, because it's at the same time, again, when I think about Babylonia, I go back to 2016 and think about, oh shit, like Ishtar was like that girl was it? She was there,
And I'll just say this, like this is just a little little add on, like they're like just based on that studio, or just based on everything I'm seeing about Ishtar, like the studio that's currently doing Cloverworks. There's a bias, like for Ishtar for sure.
I pointed that out, but I was never mad about it.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. That's
I understand.
I'm pretty sure like people were pissed that there's a bias.
Like if you have a character that's that revealing and like a lot of people love that character, then of course they're gonna milk that.
And plus, of course, like the fact that she's voiced by Kana Ueda, and she does make a striking resemblance to Rin.
Yeah, exactly.
They're basically taking Rin and making it their own, so that they know that people knew her as Rin, and then they're looking at it and be like, oh, you know what, we can do something with this. Like Ufotable has Saber, and we could be like, oh, hey, we have Ishtar.
That's an interesting take on that, actually.
I didn't know about that. Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
So that's probably why they're like, this. It's a good idea to push Ishtar.
Yeah.
Especially because like you know how Japan is. They're gonna be like, oh, waifu is always gonna be over. Like people always go crazy over waifus.
Yeah,
which makes sense. I understand. I understand why they need to.
So like that's why they're like, of course Gilgamesh is the face. of
Yeah.
Babylonia. Like no matter what how you look at it, Gilgamesh is the face.
Yeah.
But like this is just a small like hey, we have Ishtar too. Like,
Yeah,
check
I know.
out Ishtar.
No, I never got like pissed. I was never like, oh, Gilgamesh deserves more of the spotlight. Like, I understand the other characters, including Ishtar or Ishgal, whoever, have their own little story, have their own little character moments. I understand. So like, I could take that. Like, I never got mad about it. The only things I got mad about was from the game itself, with like a whole month of like, just like, it wasn't even like straight up implying or like advertising Babylonia. Like, they were just doing straight Ishtar. So I don't know.
Well, yeah.
That was just my thing with that. So it just kind of snowballed from there. Because the Guildfest, I took it as a joke. It was like, oh, okay, that's fun, that's cool, like a little twist and things. And then it just kind of snowballed, where it's like, what's
Yeah.
going on, bro? So good thing when I watched Babylonia, I didn't get salty. I wasn't like, oh god, Ishtar's here too. I forgot. Like, no, it was all good. Like, it had more so to do with it, because they could have done the Space Ishtar thing. I feel like they just should have saved it for a later date.
Yeah, like
That's all.
as much as I love the event, I found it unnecessary to just have it replace Halloween like completely. Like I honestly don't. I really don't understand why they did that. Like, was that really just like, we gotta capitalize on this whole Babylonia hype? Like that's how I felt, because Ishtar is related to.
Wasn't it
to
like
Babylonia.
a Star Wars like theme too?
You know what?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah, it was.
capitalizing on two hypes.
Yeah.
So
So I think it was a perfect opportunity actually, because I mean Star Wars was coming out December.
Yeah, but my argument too was like, then they could have just saved that for like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, but then
no-
December would have been stacked, because that's DW's fault. They stacked December, like, okay, be ready for the Lost Belt. It's gonna be in December. Like, that's their fault. Like,
Yeah.
because they would they need that Christmas event.
Well,
they need that rerun.
To be fair, it's been so long since the last Lost Boat. I feel like there was a lot of pressure from both fans and just being
there's
like,
just
consistent.
like, again, there's too many things going on with DW. Like, and I don't even remember getting a week break, like, from Space Ishtar onwards. We didn't really get a break.
I don't remember. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say anything that like I don't know for sure. Just it's been a while. I'm kind of over it now. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm just hoping that this year's gonna be more consistent and
Oh, well,
more
yeah.
what I'm used to. You know.
It was crazy. It's like, because I've been watching from afar, and I've been like just like keeping up with like just basically like the Facebook group, for example,
Yeah.
and just like just hearing about things and like just like looking at things, and I don't play it as much as I
Yeah,
used to,
sure.
but it's like when I look at like all the like servants and stuff, I still get excited and like the events. So like watching it from afar, like I guess like I have a different mindset now, but like I never realized like, you know, like DW is doing like all these things, but it does seem like it. Like I feel like I haven't seen like a a break anywhere. Like it's just like event after event or new servant or
It's very funny you say that, because I think a lot of it has to do with the fans too. Because every time there's like a week break with nothing going on, a week or two, like 1 week it's fine, nobody says anything. It's like, okay, they're just taking their time. 2 weeks pass, people start complaining that the game is dead. Oh, it's boring, nothing's going on. There should be a new event. Why aren't they releasing new servants? Where's this servant? Where's that servant? Where's this? What's going on? The game is dead. Like, people always say the game is dead, and it's a meme at this point. And it's like, bro, like you guys should be happy that there's a break. Like, honestly, like. I don't know. I'm not a whole fan of like event after event every week or every other week. That's just overkill. Like, I'm invested in the game, so obviously I'm still gonna play the events. But it's like, I enjoy the quote unquote dead like time they do give us every now and then. So I feel like there's definitely a lot of pressure just from fans.
yeah, again, it gives other fans, like I said, like this is kind of like another whole like elitist versus like, you know, people who are
Sure.
just starting new, like. It gives those people a chance to finish the story.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
then-
to play catch up. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, because if
a break
beginner
is
players
nice.
will not be able to do this event
Yeah.
because their servants aren't trained, they need to be at a certain chapter in the story to play this event. Like, how are they going to catch up if they're releasing event after event and this after this? They're not going to be able to. So, like, just give everyone time to farm, which is just ironic because people always complain about having no EXP cards, having no QP, but it's like, you know, during this quote-unquote dead week, you could have been doing
Farming.
that. I don't know, but that's just me. So I don't know. It's very weird. A lot of contradictions. A lot of stuff from like the community, like not the entire community. Like obviously,
Or, like,
I still
the,
enjoy it. There's like obviously I'm doing a YouTube channel of primarily about Grand Order and this and that, but It's
like
just
like the event shop doesn't have QP and people complain.
I know it's like whoa, like bro, like you could have played during the 2 weeks that it was quote unquote dead. That's the whole
Yeah.
point. It's to be mellow, for you to do other things in your life and not play Grand Order. Or you could play Grand Order, just do all these EXP stuff. I don't know. It's very very simple stuff that like I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird. Do you have anything else to say about that?
Well, nothing more.
yeah.
Like that was probably more the reason why I'm not as invested in Grand Order as I am right now. It's just because of those fans, you know. Like that's probably it. And
Yeah, it's
and again, I've been exposed to that community since like the beginning. Like I wouldn't say like day one. I would say
What do you
like
mean?
the first week of starting this game, like Fate Grand Order. Like I've been around it for too long, and I'm like, you know what? I really need to broaden my horizons. Like I can't just stay with just Fate Grand Order. Like I don't want to eventually grow to hate it. Like find all its flaws and shit.
I mean, there are other factors that came in.
Yeah, there are way too many factors that came in, and you know what? Like we promised to talk about it. Like,
Yeah,
At this point, I think
like
we
if you
should.
guys read the title of this podcast, we're like almost an hour in. It says like 50 minutes in to the podcast. I didn't even talk about like the title, which is, you know, I'm gonna segment it, and you guys could check out the comments and the description. There's gonna be timestamps for certain topics, I guess, if you want to.
Yeah. So this
talk
one's
about
gonna be a hefty one for sure.
So like, I'm gonna get started because I have talked about this before. So if you guys have been on my Discord, I've mentioned it, I believe, like very early on in Discord. The Discord's been around for a year, and I have mentioned it in live streams and certain videos, but I never got into depth, you know, complete detail about it, and I still won't because there's like certain things that like I should not say for the sake of respect of other people and all that stuff. But long story short, when again we're gonna go into detail right after. I used to be part of this like FGO group. Well, not I'm not gonna say FGO group, but like FGO was a big part of our group. You know, like we had anime, we had video games, we had this. But I'd say the glue that kept us all together, kept us talking for hours on end, in group chats, in person, in the car, in restaurants, like literally everywhere. We would be talking about Grand Order, and I had that FGO group, and it was nice, at least for the beginning years. Like I'd say 2 years when I first got into the series. When I got into the series, and then graduated high school, that's when I met these people, or formally met them, and started hanging out with them. And that it included my brother, and it included you, especially at the start. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you guys could attest to this. Like, despite how we feel about it right now, like looking back at the earlier year or two, it's like it was great. It was a great group, at least for me. I don't know, like maybe there were like certain things you guys didn't like at the beginning too, but like for the most part, it was good. Like it was fun.
we were all good.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Like what you said, it was a glue that.
It was fun. It felt at the time it felt like a hobby. It didn't feel like a job. It didn't feel like something that like I had to. I don't know. Obviously, I didn't have the channel back then, posting Grand Order. So for me, I have a different perspective too. Like right now, it kind of feels like a job ish. So like, I'm almost forced to play. I still enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I still enjoy the damn series. Yeah. So I don't want people to think like, oh, you're only playing it for the channel. No, that's not true. I still enjoy it. Trust me. But yeah, so that I had that group. And again, we're gonna go into more detail. Just stay tuned. Long and I don't know. I apologize for starting. It's just I'm trying to get my facts straight. Like 2 years in, it started disintegrating. Like there were a lot of salt, a lot of jealousy, just a lot of lying as well. And that was to me the main thing, lying. And there was a point where somebody stole for the game, and I don't know. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to deal with the salt. I didn't want to deal with jealousy. And like that's not to knock anyone out. Like me too, and everyone else, we all had our hand in that negativity, on that toxicity. Like there were points where I found myself doing things that I did not like, and I didn't like the person I was becoming. I didn't like the way I was thinking. Like my mind was just, I was getting stressed for a game, and I understand people are hearing this right now. Like, bro, it's just a game. Like, chill. Like, I've been playing the game as long as you have, and you're telling me like there was a point where you were stressed. And yes, there was a point I was stressed and just almost done with the game. But like, obviously I still play the game now, because I eventually left that group basically 2 years ago. I still like these people. I would just want to make this clear because again, obviously my cousin, my brother's here. Like obviously we're family, but like even if they weren't family, I'd still be talking to them. Same thing with these other people. I still talk to them every now and then. I still play Monster Hunter with one of them actually. So like I'm still friends with these people. Just understand that. It's just when it comes to Grand Order, I don't bring it up. I made it clear I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to know what they pulled. If they want to know what I pulled, they could watch my videos. It doesn't matter. I don't want to know anything about Grand Order when it comes to these people, basically, because I didn't want to end a friendship based on a game. 'Cause to me, that's stupid. Because I get it. I said earlier it was the glue that kept us together, but at the same time, there are definitely other things that we talked about as well: wrestling, video games, Monster Hunter, like I mentioned, other anime. Like it's all good. So I still consider these people my friends, and like again, I still talk to them. I'm sure they consider me their friend. So I just want to make that clear. All right. So they might even be listening to this right now. I don't know. So if you're hearing this, hey, in my opinion, we're cool. So if you want to hear it like formally, but when it comes to Grand Order, yeah, no, let's not talk about it. That's it. That's all I want to say. So I mean, if you wanna start, because you were part of the group before I was. You guys were. At least.
Yeah. Like,
I just kind of came in after I graduated.
And for sure, like I stayed with that group for as long as I could. For as long as I could muster, like
you guys started the game with them.
Yeah, Yeah, okay. I guess we'll just start at that point. Like,
yeah.
Like I guess it was like, after Anime Expo. That's when I noticed.
Which Anime Expo?
Anime Expo 2015,
Okay,
where
yeah.
Unlimited Blade Works like what was the event? Like anime. You were there, right?
Yeah, of course I was.
Okay,
there. I got the autograph for you guys, I think. Right?
Okay, yeah. Okay, for sure. So that's what happened, and of course I was on the Fate train because I was like, oh shit, Fate. Oh man, I'm kind of sad that it's
that's ending.
That it's ending, or we're not gonna get Heaven's Feel to like maybe at all.
Yeah,
like that was my mind during the time. We're never gonna get Heaven's Feel, and I just went on my Crunchyroll news and I just saw this like thing called Fate Grand Order, and at the thumbnail it was this writer named Ushio Akamaru. Like I was like, who the hell is this? Like, and it said a new phone game coming out soon in 2015, and I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm interested. Then later along the lines, like probably a couple weeks later, I see Scathach, and I'm like, okay, and I see her lance, and it's Blue Lancer's lance, Kukulane, and I'm like, okay, I'm definitely gonna get in this game because I like the look of this character. If I'm gonna play, it's gonna be for her.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, the only way to get this game was through like the Japan store, and I had an iPhone during the time, so it was the Japan App Store, and I was like, oh shit, there's no way I can get this game, and it was actually this guy over here, like that taught me how to like, get Japanese games, like through
in his phone,
like through iTunes, from your fucking account.
Because for context, it's still the same way today, right? I just want
I
to make
believe so.
You
Yeah.
still have to have a Japanese iTunes account
Yeah.
in order to download anything Japanese.
Yeah.
Whether it's music or games, apps, whatever, you have to have a Japanese iTunes
Yeah.
account. And even like if you were to purchase things through the app, you have to have like a Japanese iTunes gift card.
Yeah. So like for anyone that's an Android user like me, this just sounds weird because for us we download a separate app, and in that app that has that app has all the Japanese games, so it's like that. It's similar where we have to go out of our way to get FGO JP because we can't go to the Play Store, the Google Play Store, and just download it through there. It's just unavailable.
Yes.
We have to go through QApp or go online and find a download file. But yeah, so continue if you want.
Yeah, and I guess
sure.
during that time after I learned how to figure out how to get the game, like for a while I would say for the first 2 days I was probably the only one playing it, and then I was like, you know what? Like everyone else is into Fate, I probably should get everyone.
Day
else.
one, right? You've been playing.
Like I've been
playing
well,
game.
not day one. I would say within the first week. Like for sure within the first week.
I thought you were a day one player.
I was not a day one player. That
Because again, he didn't know how to download the game.
Like it was out for like a while, and I was like, okay,
I
like
completely forgot. But.
yeah. So yeah, I was playing it for a little bit, and I guess we just made this messenger like, hey guys, like you should, like we already had a messenger group at the time.
I know.
Yeah, and we were like, okay, hey guys, like you should check this game out. Like you can get this game. Da 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 da.
Yeah, and he just to add a bit more context, because I'm obviously his brother. I was there when he started playing it.
Yeah.
Just for a bit of context, it's like we both watched Zero together and Unlimited Blade Works. We went to the events together and everything. But I had no interest in Grand Order. Just for a lot of context, I was never into mobile gaming. as far as like on the phone or anything like that.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was also playing the new Monster Hunter game that came out, and you guys know Monster Hunters are my shit. So like when he was telling me like, "Yo, Gilgamesh is here. I know you how much you like Gilgamesh." I'm like, you know, I'm playing Monster Hunter right now. I really don't care.
Yeah, and
But-
just for a little bit of context, like, I was already into like mobile game for a little bit because of Love Live School Idol Festival. Like,
Oh yeah.
like I was already exposed to like this to this anime mobile game world, and just to
just
see
gotcha in general.
yeah,
right?
just the gotcha in general, and just seeing that Fate has that too, and like, okay, cool, like I could keep going with the series then through this game, and I would say like like a month later, like that's when you started playing, because at least with
Okay.
your account,
Yeah,
right?
the way I started playing is.
And then Gar
Well,
started
we're
playing
actually
a
gonna get
couple
to you in a bit because like the way I started playing was actually involves you because you and both of you were playing and you were talking about how you couldn't get a gold servant. Like that was a big thing at the beginning.
Yeah,
So
that was a struggle.
Okay,
yeah.
so with me, I started playing, and how do you call it? Everyone was pulling gold servants left and right.
Okay, wait, not
Okay.
me.
Wait, also for a bit of context, because way back then, because right now if you start FGO-JP or FGO-NA, whichever, you're guaranteed one gold servant at your
Oh,
first
yeah,
10
yeah,
shot.
yeah.
Back then, like 2015 people,
We
you do your
suffered.
you do your first 10 shot, you are not guaranteed shit.
We
You could
put-
get all 3 stars
Oh,
and nothing. You can't get
Oh.
Chevalier, Heracles, Emiya, Carmilla, whoever else is the 4-star
Yeah,
servant.
there were at the time there were no such thing as not even bronze apples to scout to summon. We needed 4 quartz, not 3, 4 fucking quartz.
Oh, yeah.
So it was to refill AP. We had to use quartz. So everything was just, of course, it's
Yeah,
It was a very slow
baby
paced
steps.
game. They didn't even have ×2 speed.
Yeah.
No time to speed. I didn't even think about that.
See,
Holy
okay.
shit.
I just wanted to add a context because I know people are probably hearing this like wait, you never got a gold servant? Like when I started the game, I got like
Yeah,
a Heracles in my first 10 shot.
You
Again,
guys are lucky.
like unless you re-rolled, like kept like uninstalling and then downloading the game and then restarting and just keep rolling
Okay,
until you
let's-
get a
It
gold.
almost took me 2 months to get my first
Yeah,
gold
and your
servant.
first
Yeah, so,
gold
like-
servant was Emiya.
Yeah.
I remember that. You pulled it at the habit.
So
I remember that.
like a month in as they're playing and they're talking about like, oh, I don't have a gold servant, I have this, and I'm just hearing that. I'm playing Monster Hunter. I'm just hearing that. I have my phone out, and I'm like, you know what? Without telling these guys, I'm gonna go download this game and do a 10 shot, see if I get like a gold servant. And again, I didn't know shit about the game, so like, I had to sit there, go through all the Japanese text, like click on whatever. I had no idea what was going on. So I did my first 10 shot. As you guys know, when you play through the tutorial, you get a free 10 shot. And my very first servant, like I could show, I don't know if I'll show you guys a screenshot right now or anything as I'm editing this or whatever. But my first servant ever, like if we date it back, organize the inventory by date, my first servant is Chevalier, who's a 4-star saber. So when I saw that, I was like, is this a gold servant? I can't tell because again, I'm not into gacha games, so like obviously the stars and the gold border should have been like obvious that it was a gold servant. But then when I saw it, I was like, I had to talk to them about it. This is when I revealed that I started playing. I was like, is this a gold servant? And then everyone just started freaking out like, oh my god, he got a gold servant already.
Me and Garl were just freaked out because it was a struggle. And we'll just put a little bit more context into this. And the seeds of salt have been planted because we'll just say this. We like through the game when I started introducing it to everybody, I want to say there were 7 of us that started the game, like in that group
That's
chat.
ironic.
And again, we're not gonna say names or anything like that. So like one guy, like he kept pulling gold after gold after gold, like it was nothing, and everyone else was struggling. Like, and then it just came down to just me and Guard over here. We didn't have a single fucking gold, like a month in. Like the dude that's introduced it to everybody didn't get a gold, but then this guy has like 10 golds already. Like he had like Lancelot's, Atalanta, pretty much everybody but Gilgamesh, Saber, and
Yeah.
like he never pulled a 5-star. That was the only thing. He never pulled a 5-star.
Was it all
during
through
that
luck or was it?
That was all through luck. Like
Okay.
we didn't
I don't remember.
we didn't discover microtransactions.
For
Like
the first like month of the game, there was no real need to really wail. In the
I want to
game.
say like the first 6 months, like
Yeah.
2015 throughout 2015, which was like.
I know for a fact the first time. Well, I mean, I don't know
Well,
if we're gonna get into that.
yeah,
later.
well,
get into it
well,
later.
we'll get into that for sure because if we're gonna talk about the downfall, well, for sure. And I also want to, and here's even more context. Like I don't even know if you explained it. Like that account with the Chev, that's not the account that you currently see with Gilgamesh and all that.
Yeah, if you see the account with my Gilgamesh, my Enki, the ones you guys primarily see, that's not my first account. Like, if you guys know, I have 2 accounts. I have the Gil account, and then I have the Jack account. The Jack account is the one I don't whale at. That's the account that I started the game with. So if you guys are wondering, like, wait, Chevalier was your first servant? But, like, yeah, it was with that account. So
Yes.
that's why I still play it, because it has a lot of sentimental value. Like, it's not as good, obviously. I don't whale in it, but I hold a lot of value with that account just because it was my first. And I don't want to just, like, go into another account and just commit to that. And it is a lot of time playing the events and whatnot, but it to me, it's worth it just to keep it.
Yeah.
And I guess it's like the same with me too, because again, like my Emmy account, I pulled Ruler in that account as well.
Oh yeah.
And when I got her, I was super ecstatic. But then, of course, that wasn't the servant that I wanted.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
That was your first spook, bro.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
I don't know who my first spook was. Actually, my first 5-star was, I think, John. So
No, your first 5-star was Saber.
Oh, it was
No,
Saber.
because remember this. The day I pulled John, you pulled Saber.
Oh yeah.
Minutes after.
Okay, so this is still within the first month of me playing.
Yeah.
So like I'd say 2 weeks later, I'm like, damn, I have a gold, but I don't have a 5-star. Apparently that's the shit. And then my brother here, within inches from me, because like we used to be in the same room, he goes crazy because he gets John.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bruh, damn, and I felt salty at that moment. That's the first time I've ever felt salty about like a mobile game in my life.
Yeah.
So like I was just sitting there like, wow, this guy gets a 5-star. Fuck this motherfucker, which is hypocritical because obviously I got a 4-star as my very first servant, while these guys are struggling. And then 5 minutes later, I just do a single shot and I get Saber, Arturia, like
Yeah.
5-star Arturia Saber, and which was just the hypest moment like of my life. At that moment, it was just
you were really hyped because
I was so
and we'll
happy.
bring context to that one also, like not to toot our own horns, like I remember the first months so well. Me and you, we were the only one with 5-star servants during the time. We really were. Like, I almost name dropped him. He did not pull a 5-star.
Again,
yet.
I was still in high school at the time. I wasn't even part of this group.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh
so
yeah, you weren't part
I
of this
didn't
group
really
yet.
care about that.
Yeah, so
at
like
all.
nobody pulled a 5-star yet. Nobody witnessed it until then.
Yeah.
Like, so it was a big ass deal. Like, it really was a big deal. So the first 6 months, like, it was just all that, like just peaceful. Like, we were just
Yeah, it was semi-peaceful.
we were just
There were points of salt, obviously. I just mentioned like my
for
very
sure.
first salty moment. You guys had
but
your
it was like
all
but it
salty
was like
moments.
something like we got over like not even a day after.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal.
Probably minutes after the fact.
Because again, in the end of the day, it's just a game. Like it
Yeah.
shouldn't be serious.
Yeah. So, the beginning of
What?
the year after, so 2016.
2016, yes.
So, I think
I don't even think I did the first paid banner.
Like first, no, you did.
No, I didn't.
You didn't, because I know for a fact like the first paid banner like we did, like I pulled Attila.
See,
That's the first
I-
paid banner I did.
At the time, I didn't care about spending money on
Yeah,
the game.
so yeah, that was the only true microtransaction that we did.
You did the paid banner too?
I don't think so. I don't remember doing that.
The first one?
The very first one, like
that's
2016
why
New
it's
Year's.
kind of blurry, like. But
I don't think I did because I remember like saying like I would not spend money on this game.
Oh,
yeah, but
my
I know
God.
I
Shit.
know like
Of course, that all went to shit, but we'll get to that. later.
yeah, but I know this and that did it also. I remember 2 of us pulled Attila
Nice.
for sure, and then I guess
Nice for you.
and then I guess like like Salt was already there.
No,
because-
but then like again, like you pulled in Attila and you gave me that account. That's the account I'm using today.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. More context. Like it's fucking. It's
There's
fucking.
so much
There's so much
context,
context. Like it's fucking fun to summon. Like you have that itch. So I made like a shit ton of side accounts. Like I forgot the name of the system where you can just clone accounts and just play the game over and over again. So I just made a shit ton of that. One of the accounts I pulled Attila, that went to Gardo. One of the accounts I pulled Tamamu no Mai, that went to my friend, where when in turn he had a side account that had Gilgamesh and that went to you.
Oh, okay.
That Gilgamesh account is yours.
Yeah,
like,
so I guess that's where that account came from.
Yeah, that's where it came
I knew
from.
it was from that person,
Yeah,
which is cool.
yeah.
And it's cool
That's
because
how it
I believe it
happened.
was like 2 or 3 weeks after you gave me that account, I pulled another Attila, and it was now it's it's still an NP2 Attila, I think. Yeah.
Up to this day, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Holy
like
shit.
it's crazy, like yeah. So
Mhm.
it really felt like it was like a redemption, I guess. Like
Yeah.
since I haven't pulled any like 5-star at the time.
Yeah.
You know,
Like there was still like that.
yeah.
Too, like everyone just felt left out because everyone was playing 5 stars except for one person. Everyone was playing gold except for this one person. But for sure, like that same person that I gave the Tamamo to my account, that's the same person that kept pulling gold like left and right like it was nothing. So, and then I gave him that account. And even then, that luck didn't change. Like he kept pulling like 5 stars left and right. Like he pulled Okita the month after.
Which let's be clear too. Like, I mean, it's all luck based. Like this, it's not like this guy was blessed by Jesus or anything like that. It's just
it was.
In the end of the day, it's all like chance.
Yeah, but
right. So like, obviously at the time there was no knock on anyone.
Yeah, it was
like,
no knock on anyone. Well, for sure we did have our
like again,
moments.
like I mean, you can't avoid salt. Like there's no way.
Yeah, there was no way. It was
that's something that
it was
needs to be clear too.
It didn't get to the level that we got.
Yeah,
because
the level that we got to was definitely
because there's salt like. Which is pretty temporary. It lasts like it could last as long as a day, but then after that initial disappointment, you sort of get over it, and then you move on with your life.
Yeah.
At some point, it became more than just salt. It became legitimately
personal.
Like, yeah. So
it pretty much got personal. I wouldn't go as far as using that word, but for some people, it definitely got personal. To the point of, fuck this.
Yeah, like we're definitely gonna get into it. Like it's gonna be hard for me to talk about it because up to this day, I still feel fault like for this. Okay, so for context, like 2016, from then up to November, like that same guy that with the Tom on my account, again left and right 5-star. Like I could even safely say every month he had a fucking 5-star. Like he pulled a new 5-star Shiki, like everything. Like and me and Gar would just joke about it, like, oh man, he pulled the servant already. Like before the banner even comes out, like we're like, oh, he has a servant already.
Yeah,
like,
it used to be like a running joke.
It used to be a running joke, but then it became like, okay, like.
It came to the point we were kind of annoyed that we were like, we see a new servant, and then we don't get happy about it anymore.
Yeah, because
we were like,
okay, this guy has it already. Like, who cares?
Well, shit.
Well,
like who,
I'm not gonna get her, so
yeah, like, but he will. We're gonna see him in his support like crap. Like, yeah, it definitely rose to that.
And I mean, I guess see, this is another whole context thing because I guess within our group, within like small part of our group,
okay,
thanks to the whole like Love Live thing that we were exposed to,
yes,
we were already used to the whole waifu wars shit.
Okay,
you know?
yes, yeah.
I wasn't. I just want to make this clear. I wasn't part of that. Like these guys were.
Okay,
so like thanks to the whole waifu wars stuff, we were already like, you know, like, oh yeah, my waifu's top tier, or my favorite character is top tier.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Stuff like that, right?
Like I remember getting mad at one of them for pulling a Stalfo, and I just fucking ignored him.
Yeah,
like that
I think I remember that.
Yeah. Remember we made a fucking post R.I.P. him, and then it just shows like his 10 roll, and we posted on the community.
I still have that picture.
Yeah, he still has that picture.
I still had that. That's
like
funny.
we're not gonna put that up
because it has his name on it.
Yeah, it has his name on it. So
honestly, we should have came up with like nicknames for these guys.
Like we should have.
Nah,
like
that's fine.
Like, I mean, we can. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna edit this part. You guys, if you want to like come up with quick nicknames. For like the core people at least, like not even.
The core people, Big T.
Big T. Let's just say Theodore or something.
Theodore. Yeah, Theodore. Like, okay, so yeah, like me and him like destroyed Theodore after like pulling a Stalfo, and then
this isn't the lucky guy. This isn't the lucky.
I don't even know what to call him. because I don't want to say the lucky guy because at some point, okay, we'll just keep going with the story. Like, okay, so again, 2016.
Let's call him Rich.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Rich. Okay, you know what, Rich? That's a good one. Rich keeps on pulling these servants left and right. Again, we were not surprised. So, okay, this is gonna be hard. Like,
what are you gonna say?
Eventually, for those that follow me, that know me personally, like you all know, like my favorite, probably my number 0, like favorite anime character of all time is Rin Tosaka. So,
sure.
So around November, I see this banner of Ishtar coming out.
Okay.
And we had this group chat, right?
I was in it.
And he was in it.
I love that group chat.
He was in it. So, yeah, this is gonna be like the dickish thing like I've ever done.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of
keep in mind, guys, we understand that a lot of things we did wrong. So he's about to talk about something that pretty much changes the face of what.
Yes. So
like, everything.
yeah, up to now I still burden myself for that. So basically, I see Ishtar, and I pretty much told, like at the like before then, like gacha was free game. Like we could, like if you wanted to summon there, fuck it. But I pretty much told everyone in that group, everyone like please fuck off, because I was really scared that everyone that didn't care about Ishtar, especially Rich, because
again he was the luckiest one.
Because he was the luckiest one. So I was scared that everyone that didn't give a shit about Rin Tosaka or didn't like her at all, like pulled her, like except for the one that actually cared. Like I was the only one that actually cared. Like, and I was like, and I was scared of that. And she was limited, and I was like, I'm not gonna live with that. Like, and I was already 1 year with this account, and I didn't want to make another side account, and I'm gonna switch to my main, because fuck that.
And I don't know if this is gonna be too much, but just for an idea of how serious, like, it was, like at first glance, you might be, like, thinking, like, oh, we just told everybody in the little group chat not to go for Ishtar because that's his wife or whatnot. Well, okay, whatever, cool. But just for context, like, I had to have a serious conversation with my brother, because I literally came up to him, because at the time in my Jack account, which is still funny because to this day I still don't have one, I didn't have a 5-star archer, and I needed one. I felt like I needed a good archer. I didn't have a good archer back then. Atlanta was shit, so I don't want to hear that. I only had Atlanta, that's it. So I actually came up to my brother like, yo, I really need an archer. I'm suffering, dude. Like, can you let me, like, I had to ask, can you let me go? Or I didn't even say that. I said, I'm going to be going for this banner. I just straight up said, I'm going to go for Ishtar. Like, cause to me, I don't see Tosaka Rin. I see a 5-star archer. That's it. And, again, I don't know if this, like, if we're going to put everything down.
Well, yeah, we're
going to put everything down.
We're going to put everything down for sure.
I got yelled at, basically. Like, I'm not going to say, like, there was no physical fight. Nobody got hurt. But I basically got cussed out. And at that moment, I was like, okay, this shit is fucking serious. Okay, I'm not gonna go for her. So I didn't go for her. I didn't go for Ishtar.
Yeah, I
Not
I was like pulling no punches for that one, because
basically not because like I respected his word, but I was actually scared. I was like, okay, if he's mad now, I don't want to hear what he would have to say if I pulled this motherfucker. So I was like, yeah, fuck Ishtar, I'm leaving.
Yeah, so
just want to get that clear.
So yeah, like during that like that banner, like again, like during that like if you guys use Messenger, like you could just you tag people on the post, and like at Rich, at Theodore, like I at everybody in one huge ass paragraph saying like, this is the reason why you shouldn't do it. And I even told Rich straight up, dude, you have everybody, like even the servants in the future, you already have them. I accepted that you already have them, but just give me this one, like just this one, please leave it alone. Like I don't want you to have this one. Like, and then it happened. Everything happened. I was the only one that walked out with Ishtar.
Yeah, basically, long story short.
Yeah, I was the only one that walked out with Ishtar. I MP3'd her during that time. I was the only one. Nobody, not even a C. Nobody got a C.
Can we make this clear too? Like, did you wail?
No, remember that was the first real time I wailed, because I was that scared that I was not gonna get this.
So not only was it the first time where the game actually felt like actually serious, it also was the beginning of people like wailing hard.
Well, yeah, wailing hard for sure.
Like it wasn't the beginning of wailing, but it was the beginning of wailing hard.
Because if I do remember correctly, we did kind of make not like a pact, but we did kind of like make an agreement not to spend money on the game as well.
I don't remember that because again, maybe that was between you guys.
I do kind of. I might be mistaken, but I do kind of remember, especially with me, because I remember especially me just being like, I don't think we should spend money on this game.
Yes,
you know,
for sure.
And just to make it clear, I'm sorry if I'm like cutting everyone off and adding more context and adding like disclaimers and whatnot. I just don't want to see any comments of this sort. Like you could spend your money on anything you want, right?
Just spend responsibly.
Just be responsible with it, especially since in the end of the day, this is like gacha games is a form of gambling. In the end,
it's just again, it goes back to our days with Love Live as well, where we had our character. Yeah. This character was ours. Like I had Kotori, and then Erwin had Honoka, for example. You know, and we were like, you know what, like this is my girl. I'm gonna buy everything for my girl. I'm gonna, she's mine.
Yes.
You know, like, and you have your girl, and it was kind of like another honor code where we were like, you will keep it that way.
Yeah, that
You
like
know?
that's what.
So that's how your mentality was going
Yeah,
into this, saying like, you know, Ishtar is gonna be my girl.
Yeah.
Everything that Ishtar, it's gonna happen. It's gonna go through me, and that's why you sent that message out probably.
And
Because like,
yeah, because like, well, like again, like everyone was like every gacha was free game. Like nobody truly gave a shit of what they pulled.
Yeah.
Especially Rich. Like he just, if he had that itch to scratch, he scratched it. Like
Yeah, because we all always like, if you have a even like 3 quarts only or 1 ticket, or at the time like 4 quarts, if you only had one single shot, for example, you will have that itch to be like, oh, I want to see if I could get something from this banner, even though you might not care about the character, you might not care about the CEs. It's just you see it and you're like, I might as well try, see what happens. That was what this person like predominantly did, just rolled for the sake of rolling.
just rolled for the sake of rolling. Like it really was like 0 fucks given. So
I think it was our group too that kind of came up with the solo YOLO.
yeah,
thing.
for sure we came up with the solo YOLO thing, because the solo YOLO like 9 times out of 10 we do pull fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
it always feels so much better pulling like a 5-star off a solo YOLO.
Yeah,
because
for
it's
sure.
like
In a way, it does, yeah.
yeah.
So I guess going back to the whole that whole like
So after that whole
controlling
Ishtar,
thing. So I guess like, see, this is the thing that it really was like the start of like many horrible things to come. Because a couple weeks later, like
Merlin comes out.
Merlin comes out,
Yeah.
and one of the Theodore, he basically tried to do what I tried.
yeah,
what
because
I did.
you guys need to understand, it set like what my brother did.
Set an
Stopping
example.
everybody. Yeah, it set a scary precedent, a scary example of like, okay, if he could do it, that means I could do it. That means this person can do it with whatever character they choose.
Yeah, so
Granted, yeah, okay,
yeah,
we'll get to
okay,
everything.
yeah, like so, and I guess so, and then this in Theodore base, and Merlin was like one of his heroes. Like he loved his legend, he loved everything about Merlin, like even like fairy tales, like everything. Like he just loved Merlin. So, and he just basically did what I did with Ishtar. Like he just basically told everyone to fuck off. He even did the same thing as me. He did tags. Like and he tagged me, and I remember it. Like he said like I did a solid for you, do me a solid. And I was like,
Yeah, it became this owing thing kind of. Like,
yeah, and I was like, you know what? I respect that, because you definitely didn't fuck with me. Like I won't fuck with you. Like
and
I guess we'll do that.
I'll just be honest. When I saw that, I was like, oh, fuck this. Like literally, one of our friends in that group messaged me. And he was like, dude, I like, fuck that. Like, I want to roll for Merlin. And then it became worse when Merlin officially came out, and then his skills were out, and then, like, at the time, he was the most broken servant. He's still one of the most broken servants. So, like, even though we predominantly played for our characters, it's like, bro, he's that good. Like, I feel like everyone deserves to roll for this character. So...
Anyone with a Buster favorite Buster servant, and it's funny, everyone has a favorite Buster servant.
Yeah, like you had it till Ishtar just came out.
I had Gilgamesh, and so I was like, yeah, no, fuck that. So I rolled. I'm just gonna say I rolled. I didn't get him, but I definitely fucking rolled.
Well, yeah, that's the funniest thing. Like, spoiler, like during his first raid up, nobody pulled him.
As fucked up as it is too, though, like we didn't follow that pack, because I remember rolling. For
Yeah,
him
that's why. Like, and then I remember Theodore like PMing me, like he cussed me out, and he cussed everyone out. Like he basically said, "Oh, fuck everyone." Like they respected your word, but they didn't respect mine. Like fuck everyone. Like
yeah,
seriously.
so you could see how it's like snowballing into a thing where people start distrusting people, resenting people, feeling like they owe somebody else, or feeling like they need to get owed back, or like it just became the scary cycle.
Yeah,
like,
like
and it kept going from
like
there.
it really kept going. Like then I guess whaling started to escalate because King Hassan came out, and that was like Rich's like he saw him and it reminded him of Dark Souls, and
yeah, basically
it's everything he loved.
Basically, we all started spending more money on the game when my brother started spending more money on the game.
And this was the pack that I remember now, because I do remember some sort of pack like this, and it's like a very broad pack because we never know, like, because it was basically we are only gonna spend on the characters that we actually love, and he spent on King Hassan. Like, he spent a lot.
That's...
Like, probably more than what I did with Ishtar, because, like, his name, like, says Rich. Like,
oh my god.
Like he did everything for him. So, and then that was the whole thing. Like, and then what else happened? Like, yeah, everyone started slowly wailing. Like, CCC came about, and I heard Melt Lilith's voice, and I was like, you know what? That's IDA. I mean, that's, like, my favorite VA. I'm just gonna wail for for a little bit, and then I can't speak for everyone else. I don't know if they wailed for that banner. Like, I could safely say, like, well, for me speaking, like, me and Rich were the bigger whalers in
Yeah,
the group.
like, you guys might see my account and see, like, all these gacha videos that I posted, and, like, when I live stream and you guys get to see the servants I use, you guys might be like, oh, wow, you're a big-ass whale. Like, compared, honestly, to my brother and Rich, fuck no, I'm not. Like, compared to them, no. Like, you could kiss my ass. So when people call me a whale, sometimes I get offended, but I know where they're coming from. Like,
Yeah.
to them, I'm a whale. Like, that's fine. And I will say, like, I'm a whale.
And-
But, like, for like me personally, I wouldn't say it just because, like, I know bigger
Yes.
people. Like,
And it was, like, one of those things, because, again, me and Rich, like, set that precedent, like, of us being whales. Like, there were some points where, like, again, it, like, during the Fate Extra CCC event, like, I wailed for Melt, I got one, like, at the beginning. Then I was, like, broke. Like, I had no money. So sometime around, like, using the free tickets and free quartz, maintenance quartz, I pulled another one. Then everyone in the group just all of a sudden starts suspecting me, like, did you whale again? And I was like, no, I use free tickets, free quartz. And it's like, okay, where's your proof? Like, and then it starts escalating from there, like, this distrust. And it's not only me, like, even for Rich, like, we would see things like, there were some days, like, we can tell he's bullshitting. Like, again, like, maybe he's that lucky. Like, because he was lucky. Like,
Also, keep in mind his nickname is very right.
like, it's right. Yeah, it's right.
okay, if you guys are listening to this, like, I know you guys don't consider you guys yourself rich, but let's, like, whatever. Let's just say whatever. But yeah, continue.
So, yeah, like, then there would be those points where we could see through it. Like, he would say things like, oh, I only use the free tickets that we got. Then we see, like, okay, he does have the 5-star. Then we see, like, a limit broken, like, 5-star, like, events. He was like, something doesn't add up here.
Yeah.
Like, how did
and
you
it
get
is,
that?
it is possible to, like, only use, like, let's say 10 tickets, get the 5-star, maybe even upgrade the NP level to NP2 or something, and also limit break the 5-star CE. Like, that's possible. Don't get me wrong. But how likely is that to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Like, and it kept happening event after event. Like,
so it became less about the whaling. Like, I know it sounds like, oh, wow, you guys don't like whales. It's like, it became less about that. Like, don't lie. That was my big thing, too. Throughout the entire thing, I was like, don't lie, don't bend the truth. Like, if you did something, if you whaled, just say you whaled. Like why is there
and that
anything
was
to
like
be...
a couple months before Extra CCC event. So I was like already like
Do you remember what event this was?
like when he did
When you saw the...
Valentine's was like, whoo, Valentine's.
Oh.
That was when everything started, like, for sure the sus of him, like, was big.
And I know you guys could also make the argument. I'm sure you're hearing this, like, well, why does it matter? Why is it any of your business if this person whaled? Why? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, you just said, like, they could spend on anything they want. Why do you need to know? And to be honest, answering that question is pretty difficult just because, like, you would have to be part of the group to understand. Like, we were, like, pretty close when it came to this game.
Yeah, we
like,
were really uptight.
we told, like, when I said we were talking about the game for hours and hours in group chats, in person, in restaurants, in cars, in school, like, there were times in classes where I'm texting this group chat and talking to them, and, like, I'm getting excited to get out of class so I could see them and start talking about it. We were very close when it came to this game.
We were really, like, good at talking about the game, but, like, we were never exactly happy for each other when things went.
Yes,
happened.
for sure. No, we were not happy.
Yeah.
We were never, like, genuinely happy. We would be like, oh man, that's great, you know. But then in the end, we would still have that piece, like, that taste of salt in our mouth.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the thing is, that taste of salt, it disappeared very quickly. But the thing where spending money in the game comes in is it happened a lot more frequently, and I don't know how to explain it. It just got worse and worse.
It's like a whole, like, class, like, thing. So, like, of course, like, being, like, us, we're kind of, like, middle class. Maybe upper middle class, kind of, a little bit, maybe.
I'll just say right now, I don't make shit.
And,
I don't
like,
make money.
how do you call it? So, like, we just felt like we couldn't do anything about it. Okay? And, again, Rich is rich. And, we just felt like, oh, like, he's got all the power right now. He controls this game, and we're just gonna sit here and watch it happen because we can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
and that's the most frustrating part is like when I think about it, and I think that's when I actually messaged the group chat too. I'm a big Kan Hanazawa fan, and of course I love Huke, the artist that drew Altera or Attila, and I even said too, if there's ever a Kan Hanazawa servant, if there's ever another Huke drawn servant, you guys cannot pull that character.
Yeah,
you know.
for sure.
And I actually said that too, and that's very broad because it's like, what if like a hero, like a hero of someone becomes a servant and that character is voiced by Kan Hanazawa, or same thing but drawn by Huke, and it's like. It's an extremely broad one, so like, and I didn't feel bad at all because I told them like, hey, I'm a fucking huge fan.
Yeah.
Like you guys better not touch, again, touch what I love.
The whole waifu war mentality.
Yeah.
The whole Love Live thing. Yeah.
So but it's different though. Like in a way, like the Love Live thing was different, but this FGO made it entirely new because of I don't want to say it, but because of the wailing, right?
Yeah.
Because nobody wailed in Sif.
Yeah, not in my memory.
Nobody, and even if I pulled a UR of Honoka, for example, you didn't get salty.
Yeah, I didn't get salty. I was just, oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's why I was always so confused at what had happened here because it's we don't wail in Sif, but for some reason, whenever we pull a UR of our best girl, we never got mad. But for some reason, we do wail here. But when they pull a great servant, we get pissed. Yeah. Even if it's a character that we don't care about, the fact that it has those 5 stars, we were mad.
Yeah, because it was just because we were trying to enjoy the game, and then it's this again, Rich, he keeps getting everything, it just didn't seem fun to us anymore, and that case, there's no point in us trying. We felt powerless.
Some of us had minimum wage jobs, but
yes,
of course we had other things too, like getting ready for cons and bills and stuff like that. So of course the last thing on our mind was, I'm gonna spend money on this mobile game.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
And the fact that it happened really makes me sad because it's oh man, all that money for what, a PNG.
I know. Right?
And again, it definitely also always comes back to you can spend on anything you want. People will value these things like they value physical objects. I do too. If I wake up someday and I have all my service but my NP5 Gogomesh is gone, I'm gonna be distraught.
Yeah.
I don't know about becoming suicidal or anything, but I will legitimately become depressed. I will be so sad because of all the time and money I spent on that mother.
And it's because of all that time and money that you spent.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at it as, this is my bank.
Yeah, it's a representation of all that time and money, basically.
Yeah.
It really is.
So yeah,
it's our accounts are like gold mines. It's
when you think about it, yeah.
Literally every servant that you see there, it's we found that diamond and we're keeping it and we're okay, you stay here. It's part of our display case and everything.
Again, this game's it wasn't designed at all. In the wildest imaginations, it wasn't designed to be competitive. But 2017, again, I was in a really bad place. That's how I saw it. That whole 2017, again, I had this access to whale. I had a job where I could do it, where I could actually utilize this.
It wasn't even a very well-paying job.
Yeah, it wasn't a well-paying job. So I just, it really was just scraps and pieces. And again, I do go to cons and I do hang out with Gardo, a lot. And so it really was just me super budgeting, okay, I could spend this much
it even came to the point where we couldn't even hang out anymore because you spent money.
Yeah. I'll take all fault for that. For sure, I want to say the whole 2017, it was basically me versus Rich, who would who would get away with all this gold servants. I don't know if he perceived it that way, but for sure that's how I perceived it because again, I had this power, and again, I was not spending responsibly, for sure.
Yeah, let's focus on a lot of that part with the whaling, because I know there's going to be a shit ton of comments talking about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry if I sound redundant, but spend anything you want. But, the whole takeaway from this whole thing in the end of the day as well is, just understand, to do it responsibly, understand who else you're affecting. Because like I don't want to point any fingers or anything, but I feel like if one person in our group, the 7 people, the 7 original people, including myself, if nobody ever started spending money on the game, I feel like nobody would have done it at all.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we did make that
If
pact.
if nobody did it, then I feel like none of these issues would have arisen. There would have still been salt. Don't get me wrong, but again, there was salt in the beginning, but because of the whaling, it intensified.
Like I
That's
know
how
it
I saw
hurts. It hurts when you see someone like pull a 5-star servant for free, but trust me, it hurts 10,000 times more when you know that they've wailed for it.
And you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like there were times where, like Theodore, for example, he's the one that like I feel like suffered
Yeah,
the
he
most
was
through
the
this.
one that
Like he's
suffered
not
the
here
most,
right now,
yeah.
but there were times where he would legit like not buy food. He would sell a shit ton of video games, a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Weiss, whatever, just to get a Google Play card or whatever to whale in the game. Like he's sacrificing other hobbies that I know he loves and sacrificing hanging out with us, sacrificing his own health as far as eating. And I'm sorry if I'm putting out too much information out there. I feel like everybody did that to an extent too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally.
I definitely did that. There were days where like, oh, I don't want to buy food right now. Oh, I don't want to Uber to this place today. Oh, I would
Yeah,
buy
there-
this video game,
Yeah,
but
there
I
were
can't.
there were days I legit like just left my credit card and wallet home just so I won't have to-
Exactly. It became
Yeah.
it became this addiction because it started with one person, it spread to my brother, then it spread to everybody essentially, and then people left. People stopped taking the game more seriously or anything like that. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, that whole 2017 was just no good, and I want to say like because again like people started leaving or not want to hang out with the group like that's when you started taking a break from us.
And I just want to say, like, I never wailed. The only time I would have wailed is, again, if there was a Kan Hanazawa
Yeah.
or Huke character. And that, fortunately, never happened. So
you've done the paid banners though, right?
But I've done, the only time I would is the paid banners, yes.
Yeah.
But I did wail for Nido Chris.
Yeah, Nita Chris swimsuit. Yes, I remember.
Okay, so that was like one
And
occasion.
it was at that moment that I learned the hard way that whaling is just not for me. Because I spent
Yeah.
about... it wasn't that... well, I mean, I don't know. Depends on who you are, I guess. But I did spend about $60, $60 or $80, somewhere around there.
Yeah, in your perspective, that's a big number.
Yeah.
Right?
And I didn't get her. So...
And yeah.
of course, that made me just be like... extremely depressed because I was like, man, these guys can wail. They're getting their servant. And for some fucking reason, I wail for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Again, I never wail. Ever. Unless it's guaranteed. And it didn't... I didn't
You
get
got
what I
nothing
wanted.
out of it.
And keep in mind, she's a 4-star. So that hurt me a lot.
And also keep in mind this again, like he stressed it enough. That's his first time whaling, and you might be hearing this and laughing your ass off. Like $60, that's like pocket change. Like I spend $300 every week, every month on this game, whaling super hard. Like and yeah, more power to you. But
like again, like for me, like again, like I didn't have a good paying job, and not only that, but like.
$60 is a meal. Right
$60,
there. A couple of meals.
Not even a meal.
Yeah,
that could have been
that's a shit ton.
That's an entire weekend,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Like
that's
I could have done other things, you know.
That's a video
But
game right there.
For
yeah.
some fucking reason, I spent it on the game, and I think it's also because it's not just an addiction, but it was also a ray of hope. Because
Yes,
when I
yes, of
see
course.
you guys doing it, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it definitely.
Maybe
created
it'll
those.
work for me too because it looks like it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
It looks like it's guaranteed. So I did it for the first time, and yeah, like I keep saying, it didn't happen. So it's yeah, and since then, since the swimsuit event, that beach event,
Was that 2017?
That was 2017 because
Okay.
that was when Ishtar swimsuit came out.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's when like I just realized I was like, man, you know what? Like that's when I started falling out.
Yeah, because you saw the
'Cause-
way the group was going
Yeah.
with the hardcore whaling, hundreds of dollars almost every other week, and like you didn't want to fall into that, right? That
I
was
definitely, and I think it's also the fact that I actually gave in to the
Yeah,
whaling.
yeah.
And when I realized afterwards that I didn't get what especially of course that I didn't get what I wanted, and I realized I was minus $60 in my bank account, I was like, holy shit.
Okay, we're making it sound like whaling is the devil, but like it's less about the whaling, it's more about the feeling afterwards and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
feeling
yeah.
of doing it again, and just,
And the fact that I actually wailed because again I never wailed.
Yeah.
So the fact that I did it made me just take a step back and look and like, okay, maybe this group isn't where I belong, because obviously something's happening, and I actually wailed. So, and I never do this. So
Yeah.
I took a step back, and again, I guess I wouldn't say to this day, maybe to this day, I don't know. I just have not been, I wouldn't consider myself a part of that group anymore.
Yes.
You know?
That's fine.
And that's the whole
Yeah.
reason why, like, earlier in the beginning of this podcast where I said I haven't been keeping up with events, keeping up with anything, that's the whole reason why, is because of the group. And I really just, like, started doing my own thing, you know, and, like, started, like, and I started realizing, like, you know, like, Fate's so much more. There's so much more to Fate than just
Yes.
this damn game, you know? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
so, like, you know, there's events and stuff, again, like we've all went to the FGO USA tour.
The movies.
The premieres.
Yeah.
Everything, like, Anime Expo, other cons, too. And, like, you just, like, you meet so many people. You know what, like, why can't this be, like, my whaling? Why can't I spend my money on cons?
Okay, yeah, for sure.
And finding that 5-star person.
Yeah,
you know?
and you make a good point with that too. Is like, because I know the biggest argument I see against like people who don't spend money on the game because they want to stay strictly free to play because they can't afford it, or maybe that's just against their morals or whatever. The biggest argument I always see against that is like, and without the whales, we wouldn't have the anime, we wouldn't have this event, we wouldn't have this, we wouldn't have that. And like, that's true. If the game wasn't making money, then obviously we wouldn't have the Babylonian anime, we wouldn't have FGO USA tour.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to hire all these different voice actors and actresses and like artists and whatnot. I understand that.
It totally depends on the person. Like, if I'm not gonna say if you're not doing anything with your life, but like, I mean, at the same time, it's like, if you really aren't like having any plans for anything coming up or whatever, and
Yeah,
you just
for sure.
you have money laying around, and you just like, oh, that's like a really good servant right there, then go for it. Like, honestly, like we keep saying, like, you do what you want with your money. Like, seriously, like, we really don't care. It's just within our group, it affected us so much in a different way.
Yeah, and
Well, yeah.
that was the turning point for you. The turning point for me
Well,
was... Why? Is there something else?
Well, we did pretty much point out, like, the whole 2017 me versus him, like...
Yeah, well...
like, everyone getting sus
Yeah.
with everything, like, Rich, like, again, we don't know if he lied or not. He probably lied of not whaling. Like, maybe he did actually... Like, again, see sus.
Okay,
Like,
okay, yeah, there was that whole thing of, like, just being suspicious. Like if somebody pulls a 5-star and they say it was from Free Quartz, like, it became this sort of thing where it's like, did it though? And, like, we would question it, and then we would stress so much about it because we want to know if they did or not. And even if they were telling the truth that they didn't, it's like, we didn't believe them, and that sucked. And I became a very distrustful person.
Yeah, it became real. Yeah, it became a whole...
I think everybody became a distrustful
Like, I
person.
just look back at all this and I'm like, man, we were children. I'm sorry.
No,
but like,
yeah,
No,
holy
yeah,
shit, like,
totally, yeah.
Okay, but like, to me that wasn't that big of a deal. Well, I'm honestly like, because for me, like, just being straight up, like, if you tell me you wailed, that's totally cool. Like, that's all I want, is just honesty. But like, that wasn't really the big turning point for me. That wasn't that big of a deal. I feel like that was a bigger deal for you.
Well, yeah, for sure, because...
I think for me the biggest deal was like,
the year after.
we knew it was a problem. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what Rich has to say. I don't care what Gardo has to say. I don't care what Erwin has to say. Theodore, whoever the fuck. You guys, all you guys can literally comment the same shit. I don't care. The spending the money to the amount that we were doing was becoming a problem. Again, people were starving. People were sacrificing other hobbies. It was just horrible. And then they announced towards the end of 2017 or early 2018, I forget, that there's going to be an English version of Fate Grand Order. And
yes.
For me, it was a great thing in two ways. Obviously, it's a great way, like, oh, I can finally understand the lines without looking it up, without having to learn Japanese, stuff like that. Obviously, there's that side of things. There's the other side of things of, like, this could be a fresh restart. this could honestly be a fresh. That's how I saw it. And then in the group chat when we were all getting hyped about it, obviously I'm the only one that plays it religiously like that, but that's okay. I don't really care. But at the time we were all pretty much hyped and getting ready for it to come out. It's like, oh my god, it's gonna come out next year. I'm so excited. Holy shit. And like I think I'm the one that brought it up because like I was very vocal about like this is like some stupid shit. Like let's not spend money like that.
Yeah.
Obviously we did it for JP, so I was like, okay, when the English version comes out, can like we all like whether we want to admit it or not, this is a problem.
Yeah,
and let's not double down on it and make it twice as worse, having two of the same game but like separate and spending hundreds of dollars on both and then getting twice as salty, getting twice as jealous, twice as much of the lies, twice as much as the stealing. I will get to that in a bit. The stealing part, we didn't even talk about.
Yeah, like
that was a big point for me. That was the second big turn.
I'm hearing this for the first time because I've never heard
you were actually a part of this chat because we all made like this pact.
Okay, yeah. Let me say it because I was saying it. So like you were there, but like at that time you were already like dropping the game, but you were still part of the group chat. That's 100% for sure. But so I told everybody, I was like, okay, when this game comes out, can we all make the promise not to spend money in the game?
Yeah.
And I went through like this whole entire essay of like reasons why, and like telling, like just pouring my heart out and saying like, this is why we shouldn't do it. We could continue doing it for JP. That's totally fine. We're already invested. It's too late. We can't change that. We can't change like what has been done. Can we just start like we could play JP still, but if we're gonna play NA, can we just play it purely for the story and purely for like just the fact that we could understand what they're saying and whatnot? And everybody agreed, but the one person that wailed the most.
Don't look at me.
No, not you. Like I looked at you for just, like,
I was about to say like fuck.
The one person that wailed the most, Rich, was like, I think like word for word. He said, "I'm gonna." What did he say?
No. He just said like we should just all follow our own morals.
Yeah, so he was very ambiguous with it. Everyone else was like, "Yes, I agree. I don't think we should wail. I think you have some good points. All that stuff."
There's like no point in wailing. I think that's the reason why. Like I was like, why would we wail on a game that we already know?
Yeah, like that's how I see it. Every time like I talk about it, like we're just like I know I still do the paid banners, but paid banners like $15, $20, whatever. But like I'm not spending like $300 every 2 weeks or anything like that, so it's not as bad. And again, I don't even have the group anymore. It's gone. It's over with. It's whatever. But like at the time, like my whole mindset of like is like let's not do that anymore. Like this could be a fresh restart. We could go back to the way things were. But the one person didn't agree with it, and to me that was a big red flag. I was like, wow, he like. I understand that this is a single player game. There's no PvP. There's like no competitiveness to it at all. But it rubbed me the wrong way. It was like, okay, he's just whatever. He's gonna do whatever the fuck he wants. Like he doesn't care about the group, and that's how I perceived it. I don't mean to like paint him as a bad guy or anything, but that's the way I saw it at the time. And even to this day, I still see it to like he doesn't care. It's all about him at that point. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it slide. I'm not even gonna make it a big deal. And that was this beginning of 2018, end of 2017.
Well, yeah, the beginning of 2018, like of course we see each other a lot. Like this dude Rich, like he like he's honestly a good person. Like he really is a good person.
Okay, there's that. Like he's one of the nicest people ever. Like just straight up one of the nicest people. The other thing I wanted to like a sort of disclaimer. Shit, I hope I'm not forgetting it. Is that like I know there's gonna be people watching this that's like, oh, I will in both NA and JP or even the Chinese version or Korean version. I don't know. Like I will in all versions. Like why is that a problem? Again, you got to take it in the context of our group. It was a problem within our group. So I didn't want it to persist or get worse. That was my whole thing. If you wail in both NA and JP, hey, fine, that's cool. No, I'm not cracking on you. I'm not cracking on anyone else that does it. Mm-hmm. It's within our group. Please take everything with the context that's presented to you, because I know people are just gonna like unsubscribe and be angry. And hey, you can. More power to you. Just understand where I'm coming from. All right. So you want to continue on like
yeah, like there was one day where it was just me, you, and him on the table, and we made a vow like we're not gonna wail as big as we did.
I didn't even think about that because at the beginning
that was a big deal to me. That's why.
Okay, yeah, at the beginning of 2018, which was around the same time, pretty much right after.
Yeah, the Setsubon event.
So there was me, there was Rich, and there was my brother, and I think like I forgot why like he came or whatever, but like we all basically sat down, and we talked about it. We talked about
for
it,
a Yu-Gi-Oh!
and
thing.
again, it was we weren't arguing, we weren't like bickering or anything. We just had a conversation basically, and the end of the conversation, it was agreed upon by everybody, including Rich, myself, everybody.
Yeah.
That like, okay, like we're not gonna whale as hard starting this year in JP. We're only gonna spend money on the characters we 100% like, which is something I still do to this day, because I took that shit seriously. Because I was tired of all this bullshit salt. I was tired of all this jealousy, all this like everything, like, and we agreed upon that. That was great. And like, why was it a big thing for you? Like,
because again, like a month after that, like, the Kata no Kyokai rerun happened.
Sure.
And
oh yeah, which is happening this month for NA, by the way.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. So
good timing.
So for sure, I'll take fault in this. Like, again, it was I didn't have Shiki at all. Like Void Shiki.
But you liked her though, right?
Yeah, like okay. Yeah, I did like her, but then we promised like we weren't gonna wail as hard. Like, and looking back at it, I didn't wail as hard, but then I felt guilty because okay, I still wailed like for this character. Yeah, I do like her. She's in my top 10 favorite anime characters of all time. Look at my MAL. Like, but I just felt guilty because at that moment I knew, I was like, okay, like if we're gonna say the reason why I started wailing was because of Rich, probably the reason why it reignited again is because of me. Like during that time, because shortly after, that's when we started reverting back to our old ways because of that. Like, I don't remember the gacha afterwards. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was a Valentine's.
No, Valentine's is actually first. It's coming right now. Semiramis coming right now for anime.
Okay, so
it's the same schedule.
Okay, so
Semiramis and then Valentine's. No,
like
then
yeah, I'm really trying to remember my timelines, but I guess long story short, like we reverted back to our old ways. Like what we discussed a month prior, it was all null and void. And in fact, it probably got worse because see this is the part where we're gonna introduce like, well, okay, wait, yeah, that's why.
Okay, no, before you get to that, I just want to say like how I took it, because again, I'm still pretty much keeping my word with that. Like, when you guys see it with my videos, the only time I wail realistically is like Gilgamesh, Enkidu related, Shuten related, Jack the Ripper. That's pretty much my bread and butter. Like the summer banners, like depends on the character. Truly depends. I know everybody wailed super hard for Melt Lilith and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
I didn't, just because like I'm cool with the characters there, but like it wasn't that like I took a step back and was like, it's like I could live without them. It's okay. So that whole pack thing, the whole agreement was a big deal for me, just because it's like, wow, I'm like committed to this, and clearly you guys aren't. So that's when I started becoming resentful, and it sucked because that's a huge reason why, like, because I was becoming a worse person. I was becoming a very resentful person, and I didn't want to stay like that. I didn't want to become more resentful as time went on. Mm-hmm. So that's when I started becoming like distant with this group, and I didn't want to talk about Grand Order. I still did. Like right now, it's pretty much 0%. At the time, it became cut to 50, where like I would like bring it up every now and then, and if they bring it up, I would talk back and be like, okay, cool. Like, oh, you pulled that servant, that's nice. Oh, this servant's coming out. Oh, that's cool. But like it was definitely not the same for me, just because like again, I became a very resentful person, because like you guys, like including my brother, like I mean he's obviously my brother. I live with him, so like, I have no choice but to talk to him. But like it became like, like I don't know. I became a very angry like person for something stupid. So like, and I acknowledge that. That's why I left, because I didn't want to stay like that. But like, we're gonna get to the point of where I left later.
Yes, like, well, it actually happened that year.
So that's strike 2 for me. Strike 1 was the whole FGO NA thing. Nobody, like, that one person didn't want to agree to not whaling. Strike 2 was like the pact was broken in an instant, pretty much. So that was strike 2. Strike 3 is gonna come real soon.
Yeah. So
There was another person in the group that did kind of forced me to leave too, but like, I wouldn't even say he was a part of the group. I just like every time I like mentioned Altera or Attila, my favorite character.
Oh.
Just as a quick side note, just towards you, I'm not gonna cut this out because this is 100% real shit. He's a subscriber on this channel, so like, let's just, hell yeah.
Well.
Well,
I mean, you can say what you need to say. Like, honestly,
I am gonna say what I need to say, but like, how do you call it? Like, I mean, that was kind of like the realization that this group was just toxic. Like at this point,
Okay.
like where I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I didn't say shit to him, and then all of a sudden, he's coming at me like with an attack for no, like, this goes back to the elitist shit.
it really,
you know?
it kind of does.
I'm sorry, and you're probably gonna listen to this, but honestly, I'm not gonna say I don't give a fuck, but I don't give a fuck. So, like real shit, man. Like, it's you could look back at it, and you'll probably look back at it, and you're gonna be like, yeah, man, he never said shit to me, like, cause it's real. Like, I didn't say anything, man. Like, and then all of a sudden, you come at me. And yeah, sure, you can tell, you can be like, oh man, he's so weak or whatever. But it's like, keep in mind, what we're saying here is all real shit. So like, we're going through all this, and then you're here out of nowhere. Keep in mind, like I said, I don't even consider you a part of the group, but you came in here, and you just did that. So that's when I was like, you know what, like, that's not helping me at all. And the fact that this person's not part of this group and he's doing this shit to me, I was like, I'm done. So
Okay.
It was at that moment where I was like,
So-
I'm not even going to show up to this place where we hung out. I don't even know if we're going to... Do they know that where we hung out?
It was
So-
basically my school, but where my college at, because
Okay.
these guys went to the
Yeah,
same school as.
Yeah, so I just bothered to no longer show up. I decided, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere where I know for a fact these people are genuine and like they know...
Yes.
They know what they love and respect others for what they love too, and so I left and I never came back, and I found another group of people who I can consider like are like
Yeah.
the best people.
Like for sure that happened like around 2018 because that's when a bunch of new people like I would say quote unquote replacements started coming in.
Yeah,
within
quote
this
unquote
group.
new people. Like,
Like-
new people as in like they're, for example, the brothers of
Yeah.
Rich, mutual friends, like the person my cousin just mentioned. Just a bunch of people who were always around, but they never played the game. They never wailed in the game, obviously, if they never played it. They were just there, but then they started playing the game. And
And keep in mind, because again, I know he's a subscriber here, but you didn't do it once, you did it twice. So that's when I was like, okay.
Yeah, so I guess to bring it in.
Hey, okay, by the way, I'm just saying, like this is all 100% real shit. So, like,
So
if you don't like what you're hearing, you don't like what you're hearing.
like so I guess like I know we're like you're probably just well, I'm not gonna say singling him out at this point. Like, we probably need to give context to like anybody else like that's out of it, like what he did to you. Like,
What do you mean?
Like, because you didn't really say what he did to you or what he's.
Well, okay, I was there, but I wasn't really paying attention. So I'll give my perspective on like what happened, and then you could add details if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we were all hanging out where we usually hang out at school. We have this sort of lounge area where you could just go there and chill. There's people who take naps in that motherfucker. People study. You could literally do anything you want in there. You could bring a TV, plug in your PS4, like whatever, and play what. Like, you could do whatever you want.
Yeah,
So
people that
we're-
just straight up stank just
yeah.
hang out.
So
there.
we're hanging out there, just straight chilling. Everyone's playing Grand Order in the big ass table, and I'm there. My cousin's there. Everybody, and including this new guy. Should we give him a name? Should we give this?
Narrow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
'cause-
Narrow, Narrow and him are talking, and it's like they don't talk much. So let's just put. Am I wrong in saying that? You guys don't talk much, or you guys had like little interactions.
We've had very little interactions. I wouldn't even consider us like we never really were acquainted either. We were just like he was there because of Rich, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So I knew him as Rich's friend, And you know,
your brother's friend too.
and my brother's friend, yeah. So I was like, okay, yeah, he seems chill and stuff like that. And again, we were all at this table, and I'm over here. I don't exactly remember what happened because I made sure to leave it out of my mind for the rest of my life because I honestly it was so.
Okay,
like,
what happened is like I believe because you guys started talking about Grand Order because that was obviously a conversation starter within the group, and you were gonna add him or he was gonna add you.
Oh yeah.
He was gonna add you, and you showed him like how much you like it till like, oh, this is my girl, till like yo, this is what's going on, and then he saw it, and then he basically started talking
shit about Attila.
Yeah, he just basically called her trash, basically called her bitch, whatever it is. Again, I was there, but like it's not like I was consuming everything. I just know, like from my perspective, that's what happened. And then you were like, you know what? I don't want to add you.
Yeah,
like,
I straight up told him, like, go fuck off. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna add you.
And again, I don't mean to talk shit about you because to me we're 100% cool, but like this is just a general statement to everybody. Like again, they were barely associates, right? They barely.
Yeah, that's just again like maybe me and you can one day talk about it in person, but for now, what I'm saying is, me and you never even talked as much, and that technically was not really my first impression of you, but more so of like. That's the first thing I really got to know you about, you know?
Yeah, and like I know there's gonna be I feel like I keep saying this, but there's gonna be people watching like commenting like, yo, that's a stupid thing to get mad about. But you have to understand, you could joke around with that with people you 100% are cool with joking around stuff like that.
And at the same time, I understand when it's a joke and when it's not. And genuinely, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm still to this day I'm wrong. But genuinely, from what I'm hearing, even from everyone else, this person really does not like that character at all. And that's fine. But it's like when someone... Again, we're going back to this whole elitist shit. When someone loves that character, what's the point in fucking kicking that person down? You know?
Yeah, and I know people are going to bring up points in which, like... Because, like, it's a running joke. And that's a key word right there. It's a running joke in my channel where I talk shit about Emiya all the time. And a bunch of other characters. And but I always say, like, if your favorite character is Emiya, that's totally fine. But I'm about to roast this motherfucker. So I just want to make it that clear. Like, I'm always joking around.
And not only that, but it's like, you're talking to an audience, right?
Yeah, okay.
It's not like you're talking to someone in person.
Okay, yeah.
It's so much worse when it's in person.
I guess.
You know?
Because I probably wouldn't do that. Like, if I saw, like, an Emiya fan, like, I'm not going to walk up to them.
You're not going to go up to an Emiya cosplayer and talk shit.
Yeah, no, I would get my ass whooped. That's, like, 100%.
Like, like, that's real shit. Like, that's common sense.
Yeah,
You're talking to an audience. What I'm saying is...
And I'm clearly...
This person was in front of me, genuinely wanting to add me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. You know, like, yeah, that's fine. And I'm like, yeah, so this is my support. And then all of a sudden...
He sees Nero, or not Nero, he sees,
He just, and just starts attacking me. And I'm like, so why do you want me to add you again? So that's how, that's done. Like, I don't know. Like, honestly, like, again, like, if you ever want to talk about it, I'm here. But, like, like, again, like, that was literally, like, the only thing that I really, really got to know you about. I only knew you as Rich's friend and my brother's friend. And that's it. Yeah. So, like, when you did that, I was like, okay, so maybe this person isn't someone I want to be around at all. And then it was thanks to that I left the school in general. Because I was like, when you put everything together... Like, the group...
Okay, when you say leave school... Let's just say, like, instead of school, let's say group, because it sounds like you dropped out of school because of...
Oh, no,
that sounds ridiculous.
Okay, sorry. I left the group.
Okay.
And when you add all those things together, the wailing, the depression, people can't hang out, the money issues, and then elitists like you, and when I added it all together, I was like... This place isn't doing anything for me. Like, I don't want to be here. If in fact, every day I come here, my mentality gets worse and worse. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm not gonna even show up anymore. And honestly, if I'm gonna be real, that was like probably the best decision I've ever made in my life.
I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, looking at you right now, yeah, it's.
Because if you continued being in the group, there's no saying what would have happened. Like
There's no saying I would have went out and saw everything.
Yeah, but for sure, like, for real, you probably would have been angry. Like, you probably wouldn't be as mellowed out and shit as you are right now. You probably would have been angry.
Yeah.
Like an angrier version
Like,
of
okay, like,
whatever that
see
was.
the thing is, I will own up to what I was before. I used to be angry at a lot of things for no real reason. And it's not just because of Figure Out Order, but a lot of issues as well.
Yeah.
But of course, one of the main reasons was because of this group. This group was not helping me stay mellow, and
Yes.
you know, it was not helping me at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, like, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna, you know, do my own thing, and find other things to do. And honestly, like again, like, my Instagram's out there now. You guys can look at it. Look at my very first post that I made, and that post will show you why I made that account, and it shows you even the date of when it happened. This is all real shit. Like, I'm not even telling. I'm telling you guys right now.
Yeah.
The date is on there and everything. It was because of that account. When I made that account, I was like, I'm gonna go out and do something and see like things and experience things, because that's something that I should be doing rather than staying here and feeling like shit with this group, and feeling even worse with this person that I don't even know, right? And I have to see him every day. I felt like I had to see you guys every day.
Yes,
that was one of the big issues.
Yeah, that's
too.
for sure. That's when 2018 is like for sure when, well, like we said all the time, even in our past Love Live group, that it was at that point where I felt like seeing each other was a job. Like another job for us.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that.
And like,
none of us wanted that.
And that's shitty, because we're supposed to be friends. We're supposed to be seeing seeing each other isn't technically a bad thing, but the fact that we saw it as a bad thing was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, you can see your friends all the time. You can see your family every day. But like, if you mourn it all the time, that's how you know there's a problem.
Yes.
And that's how I saw it. So I was like, I'm gonna leave, and if ever I were to come back, then let it happen. But for now, I'm gonna do my own thing, and since then I haven't looked back.
Okay.
And you know, like, again, I told you this, Erwin, and I guess I'm gonna tell you this now, Jonathan,
and everyone else,
or protagonist, or
everyone calls me Jonathan, by the way, but that's the point.
I mean, it's not like I wouldn't welcome you guys back with open arms. You know, if you guys want to come with me to these things, of course.
Yeah.
I never said you guys aren't allowed. It's just, you guys, I want you guys to feel the same thing that I felt, and then push yourselves to be like, okay, I wanna do something instead.
For sure,
you know,
yeah.
Like, I want you guys to feel genuine, like, because I truly felt like I was the only one feeling this. You know.
Well, yeah, for sure.
I truly felt like I was the only one feeling this, so that's why I was like, they don't see it, so I'm like, I'm not gonna force them to see it.
Like, I would say for sure, like, everyone saw you, like, was fake with each other for sure.
Yeah.
Like during that time.
Yeah. Again, it comes back to there's a lot of distrust, a lot of resentment.
Yes, there was.
Just we don't know if somebody was lying. When we caught somebody in the act of lying, like, I don't want to, like, should I even mention that?
There was just too much distrust with us, and like, again, like, I guess it will transition to the strike 3, like, why you left. Because...
Okay, before that happened, like, there was a point where I forget which month it was, but it was early 2018, the earlier half, or the first half, I should say, where Achilles was coming out. And this is when I knew it was too serious, and I was like, okay, wait up, come on now, like, it's that serious, where we're going back to Theodore and Rich, and it comes back to the whole thing of, like, people were starting to take these characters as possessions, and, like, nobody else deserves that character and stuff of that nature. And long story short, I don't want to get into specifics because I don't know exactly how everything went down, and out of respect for the people involved, I don't want to get too detailed with it. But basically, Rich pulls Achilles. Theodore loves Achilles, pretty much as Merlin at that point in time.
Yeah, like, he loves the Greek servants in general.
Like, just the timing of it was very weird because for an entire week we didn't see him anymore. We didn't see Theodore anymore. He stayed home.
Yeah, and we tried to contact him.
We
and he
tried.
wouldn't answer.
Me, I would message him. Everybody would try calling him, messaging him, and then he never answered. I don't know. And keep in mind, we saw him pretty much every day. All of a sudden, Rich pulls Achilles. Theodore made it clear that he loves Achilles. All of a sudden, he's not showing up, and that entire week, because it was pretty much an entire week of speculating, okay, what happened? Why isn't he showing up? Because he's not gonna answer. He's not answering the phone. Anybody.
I remember that week well where he wasn't. That was the second week when the second Avengers came out. That's I remember that because we tried to hang out with him to see that movie.
Oh, because we wanted to watch the new Avengers movie that came out, not the second.
It was the second Avengers, 2018, right?
Infinity War.
Yeah, 2018.
That's
Then 2019.
Infinity War was the third Avengers movie, basically. But let's not get
sorry.
Age of Ultron. Okay, whatever.
Because I'm thinking of Thanos.
But yeah. So Infinity War came out, and everybody wants to watch it, and at that point we were like, okay, he's not answering the calls. We know he wants to watch Infinity War 2. He won't answer our calls, so we ended up watching it without him, and that became a big thing later, where when he did start talking to us again. And again, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of apparently this was happening in his personal life, but it's just the whole timing of it was just weird. And he became very sad and disheartened that we went to watch the movie without him, but at the same time, we couldn't contact him because he wouldn't answer. And I don't want to point fingers and say it's because of the whole Achilles thing, but entire week of just not hearing from him, the whole timing of it all. That's when I pretty much decided this is getting too serious. This is some stupid shit. I'm at the time 20 years old, becoming 20, I don't know. And I was just this is dumb. Everyone else was pretty much older than me, and I identified that as being stupid. So
and I think the fact that we started linking this game to our depression.
Right.
That's when you really need to step back and just be oh shit. We can't even come out of our own houses and see each other and not even pick up our own phones for each other. That's the point where you're just we need a break.
Even people who were friends with Theodore but were not part of the FGO group per se contacted this person or contacted Theodore, still didn't answer. So it was just weird.
Yeah,
and then even those people started being it was because of the damn game again. It became this fucking it was just embarrassing to an extent too. It was wow, all these problems is because of this stupid ass it's again, I love the series, but in the end of the day, it's just a game.
Keep in mind I feel messed up because I wasn't trying to contact him or anything. But when I was heard about this news, I even said it's probably because of Fate Grand Order.
Yeah, and again, it probably isn't. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of his explanation of everything when he finally started talking. But at the same time, it just, I don't know. The whole timing of it was just weird. So, I started this earlier I said 50%. It went down to pretty much 25%. I was okay, I can't, this game is just because when I talk about the games with these people, I could obviously talk about it with you guys just fine. But when I talk about it with these certain people, it's it brings just bad memories and brings all those bad feelings back. That's why I cut that part out of our friendship. We're still friends, but I just cannot bring that up anymore. So, and then the biggest thing now, this is strike 3 for me, because even though that was a pretty big thing, in the end of the day, it was all speculation and we don't know. So the third strike was, I think was it a summer rerun or was it a $1 million campaign?
It was a $1 million campaign.
I forget which $1 million campaign it was, but it's when Tomo Lancer came back, Summer Tomo came back, and we were all eating at a ramen place, and I was just sitting down eating ramen, and then one of Rich's brothers got into the game fairly recently, and he knew about whaling and everything, but that's neither here nor there, but he showed me that he got Tomo Lancer, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And what's surprising, what killed it for me was how he got Tomo Lancer. So he told me, he shouldn't have told me this, because this is pretty much what killed the group for me, but it was a blessing in disguise, I guess. He found a way to basically whale without spending money. I'm not gonna he basically stole money. If I'm just gonna if I'm gonna put it in simple terms, he stole money in order to whale for Tomo Lancer, because he tried to get Tomo Lancer through free courts and free tickets. failed. Okay, everybody goes through that. All right. Instead of wailing or moving on, he decided to wail and then do something. Again, I don't want to get too specific because I definitely don't want to give you guys any ideas because I know some of you guys might be like tempted to do this too. But he found a way to basically steal the money. And he got Tom Lancer through pretty much stolen quartz. And that really offended me, like, in this weird way because, like, I see everybody wailing and suffering. For example, Theodore selling all of his, like, a lot of his possessions just to get a Google Play card just for a chance to get this character. And it offended me that this guy, who's relatively new to this game compared to everybody else, like, stealing money, feeling proud about it in a way because he got Tom Lancer.
Like, yeah, that's like,
that, like, I was like, no way. Like,
and
okay.
like, and the reason, like, for sure, like, he did that, like, with the free quartz, he did get spooked by Fionn Comhill. Like, that was the whole reason.
I mean,
like, he was that pissed.
Whatever, man. Like we all get spooked.
That's why we all live with that,
like you either live with the salt, the disappointment, or you actually make the sacrifices necessary, whether it's actually putting money that you earned yourself or selling something of equal value and then using that money that you earned through selling that shit to wail. But, like, if you're gonna straight up steal money, and then I don't know, it was. And then I found out, like, he told another brother about it, and then that brother tried, and then he was successful in getting, in stealing the money too. And I was just like, oh God, no. So it went from being distrustful of like, okay, did this guy wail? Did this guy not wail? And it became this thing of like, okay, did he steal money or did he not steal money? And I was just like, this is worse now. I don't want to be here anymore. So that's pretty much when I cut off. I was like, okay, I don't want to deal with this unneeded stress. Obviously, whatever they do, I probably shouldn't have cared that much, but it was just a huge offense to me just because, like,
no, you should care as much because they stole money. They're criminals. Like, I'm not gonna even be straight up about it. I mean, I'm not even gonna be like sugarcoat it. They're criminals. Like that. You don't do that. So of course you're gonna be angry. So it's like you should feel that way, man. Like that's just terrible.
And I just want to add a bit of context because I don't want to paint this motherfucker as a motherfucker. And I'm sorry I called him a motherfucker, but I literally called everybody one. But he later felt bad about it and he did apologize. But it's just one of those things. It's like it happened, and it made me feel a certain way. So like, I just don't want to be a distrustful, like, resentful dude anymore. And I'm glad to say after 2 years, I really don't care. They could be stealing money. Like, they could legitimately be breaking into banks, physically stealing money. I would be surprised, but I wouldn't care anymore. I would be like, oh, okay, whatever, let them do them. Like, it no longer affects me anymore. I've grown better. I am no longer as resentful, no longer as distrustful. I feel better now. And like you said, like earlier, your best decision was walking out. Yeah. That was my best decision too. I was like, fuck this. I like, and again, I still consider these people friends in other things, other hobbies, and we could still have conversations. But when it comes to Grand Order, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna bring it up. If you bring it up, you're not gonna get an answer from me. So.
And I know, like, a lot of them are like they always make that excuse that they're scared of me and they don't know how to, like, come to me and talk to me. But again, like I kept telling you guys, like, I have open arms. If you want to join me in things and talk to me and stuff, I'm willing to hear you out, and I'm willing to bring you along with me. I've never been like, I'm closing the door on you. I literally left, and I left the door open for you guys to come in as well. You know? So that's just how it is. And it's I don't know, like, again, like we both said, leaving was the best decision in our lives.
Yeah, for sure leaving was the best decision. Like, it took me an extra year to, like, leave that group, because during that time, that was, like, when you left, like, there was really, and my brother was literally the only other person that I could talk to Fate about. Like, again, Fate's, like, my favorite series ever. So, and I stayed with this group a little longer, and then that's when me and my brother had, like, a little falling apart. Like, even during those times...
What do you mean a falling apart? What the heck?
Like
I don't want to paint this as becoming, like, a serious, like, drama, like a Korean drama or anything like that, like a novella. Like, I don't want people to think that it got so serious, people were dying in this bitch.
Well...
It wasn't that serious, it just sounds serious, okay? But
Well, I mean, there were times, like, again, I still hung out with that group that you did not like.
okay,
I
but
still...
okay, let me just make this clear. I don't like it when, like, if you have a problem with me, I'd rather have you come to me and say it, or like in some weird way show me that you have a problem with it, right? Don't, like, I don't know, like, don't bring my name up. That's like my only thing.
Well, yeah, but then...
It's like, you could talk to Grand Order about them. That's not my business at that point. But like, if you're talking about me too, it's like, why are you talking about me? Like,
I mean, there are days where I just come back home and you just ask.
Yeah.
First question: Did you talk to them about Grand Order? Then I'm like, yeah, and then you're like, oh, then that's it.
Well, but the big thing was, did you talk about me? And most of the time it was yes. So don't even say that.
Well,
and-
yeah, because it was
Why are you talking about me?
I don't know what to call him. Like Dante.
I'm sorry, just don't talk about me.
Yeah.
That's really it. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, it was mainly him.
if I left, then I left. Don't
Yeah.
talk about me. Like, please.
Like
don't.
I know. Like some of them, like even like they talked about me too and asked about me all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, I can keep saying I keep saying it. Like, my phone is here. You could text me.
Yeah, literally, like, you could message me like, "Hey, bro, like, you need to
Like,
talk."
honestly, like,
Cool.
maybe the first week or first 2 weeks or maybe first month, really, of me leaving the group, maybe I wouldn't have wanted to talk to you.
Okay, yeah.
Of course, but of course I needed the time to recover from all this. I need to recover, heal up, and then I'd be willing to hear you guys out. You know,
Yeah.
because like, it again, like when I left, I didn't even talk to you guys. I left and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna like leave and not talk to anyone for a while, you know, and then just, you know, like not recently, but like of course like I think it took so long as like until like maybe really FGO tour where I just was just like, oh, I'm gonna see these guys again and you know I'll talk to them.
Yeah.
Well, it was mainly me, you,
Theodore.
and
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like at that point it was just us four that was left or whatever that group
I mean,
was.
it is what it is. Like, I no longer consider it like a group thing. Like,
Yeah, it was just
like, yeah,
I
it's
don't know what it is anymore.
I don't. It's like, okay, if we're just talking about Grand Order, it's just Grand Order. Like, it's just a game that we all mutually play, but like, it's no longer a group thing. Like, I think
Yeah.
that was the first mistake too, was just associating it with this small little group. Like, I think,
Yeah, because I mean, between the middle of all that, like, that's when I learned that damn, like some of us don't want to do these sacrifices for the sake of the group. Where, like, that's what I hated. Like,
Yeah,
like everyone was in it for themselves.
it became a minefield of like,
Yeah.
I don't know if rolling in this gacha is gonna offend anyone or not. So there were a shit ton of factors of why I left, but you guys already heard the big three from me. And obviously, like, if you guys watch my live streams, watch my videos, like, I always say, like, if you're gonna whale responsibly, I never say don't whale at all. I never say that. So please get it out of your heads that I'm 100% against whales. I am not. It's just within the context of our group and maybe within the context of your own group. If you could identify that there are problems arising, whether it's somebody not being able to eat, having to sacrifice other hobbies, stealing, if you have to resort to such crazy stuff in order to, like, spend money in the game, then is it really worth it at that point?
Like a lot of people like really like to joke around about like, because I remember like seeing articles about like people in Japan going into debt through like mobile games and stuff, and people like to joke around about like, haha, like, yeah, that's funny, like he spent so much money and but it's a serious thing.
That's real shit.
It's a serious thing, and like people are starving themselves, and people are they can't even build relationships with people who they care about because they can't even go out. Because of, and as sad as it sounds, sometimes, yes, you do need money in order to survive in this world.
And strangely enough, there were days where, like, even though his name is Rich, there were days where he
rich,
he couldn't even buy food. We would have to spot him sometimes.
Yeah, just to put, like, obviously I don't keep track of everyone's bank accounts, but just based on what I've seen, it really looked like an average of $150 were being spent on the game every week or every 2 weeks, which to me, like, I mean, maybe you do that, whoever's listening, maybe you do that, and that's not a big deal to you, but to me, that was just like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah.
Like, and the reason why that was a problem is because it was influencing others, like Theodore or myself, to do it too, even though we knew damn well we couldn't do it. So and then when we don't get anything from out of it, but we see that he does, it's like it became this shitty situation, and I no longer wanted to be part of it because I was becoming a person I was no longer proud of, and I was viewing these people, everybody, like in a very distrustful way. It was horrible. And I keep saying it was horrible because it was. And I know it sounds very serious. Like, the thumbnail probably has Grand Order on it. I have a Grand Order profile pic and everything.
And again, it's not like we hate the game. We go to events.
Okay,
and everything.
Clearly, I like you said you don't hate the game. Clearly, I don't hate the game. Obviously, like I have a channel about it. So.
We go to events. We still spend money on like merchandise and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like, I mean, we're still in love with Fate as a whole. It's just we're very unfortunate to have had a group of friends that ended up being what had happened. So it's like,
yeah, because I don't know, and like this is kind of a side note kind of thing, and this like I talked about it with you, Erwin, a couple days ago, but as you guys know, I recently made a Twitter. Follow me. Link in the description and in the comments, by the way. Hell yeah. But I actually got a tweet because I remember reading like a thread on I don't know if it was Reddit. I forgot where it was, but where somebody was opening up about like how like whaling like pretty much like fucked them up. How just the gacha system in general was like messing up with their mind, their mental state, and like getting them stressed and whatnot. And I read through it, and I related it with it so much that I tweeted about it and I linked it. And I remember getting a reply and like, or a comment on my tweet, and was like, "Oh, that's all well and good." I forget the exact words, but it was like, "Oh, that's all well and good, but you can't say that people who don't whale aren't as big of fans as people who do whale." And I was just like, "What?" I don't know. And I got into this huge argument with this guy because that was like, wow,
okay,
people had this kind of mentality. And I'm not trying to say Rich or anybody else in the group. Like, this was a huge side note kind of thing, but it was just one of those things. I was just like, what are you talking about?
That's one thing that like I look back at the group. We never said that we were not fans.
Okay, yeah, sure.
We all acknowledge that we were just as big as the fans as anyone else. As each other.
For sure.
We never said that, "Oh, I'm a bigger fan than you," or "a bigger fan." It's just we had characters that we really grasped to, and we really did not want anyone to touch. And even so, where we get jealous over like good pulls, but that was basically it. But even then, it's things like that could really break a group apart, you know. And again, like going back to that tweet, like it really isn't like whaling comes in many forms. Crunchyroll is a type of whaling. You pay for that shit every month. That's a type of whaling because in a way you're I mean like let's say supporting actually. I'm gonna say supporting, not whaling.
Spending money, whatever.
Spending money on the anime industry comes in many forms. It doesn't come through just a phone.
Yeah, I remember I argued to this guy. I was like, you could also like even if you don't whale in the game, you could also be like buying merch. You could be attending real life events like we talked about. I was like, it's not just like on the game. I don't know. It was just a weird argument, and this guy was serious. It wasn't like it was a troll or anything. Like this guy was 100% serious.
So this guy generally believed that you have to spend money on like
it was like it doesn't matter how much you love the game, but you can't tell me that you can love the game if you as much as people who spend money on it. I don't know exactly how it was worded, but it was basically saying whales are the bigger fans of the series.
Okay.
Just because they spent money. And to me, I was like, well, you got to take everybody case by case basis. People can't afford it. People like in certain countries are not allowed to spend money on online games. It's like there's so many other factors. It's like, dude, you can't just say that. Like, I don't know, man. That just sucks. That there are people with that kind of mindset, and that was just one person. But the fact that there's one person, that kind of tells me that there might be more, and that's just kind of scary to think about. It's like there are people like this in the community that like think of themselves in a higher degree just because they spent money on the game. Like, I don't know, man. It's weird. and I know it comes in both spectrums because I know there's people who's free to play who like to flaunt that they're free to play, like, oh, I never spent money on PNGs and stuff. So there's like both sides. There's an extreme to both sides, right? But I feel like I'm in the middle ground where like I understand both sides, but if like I lean towards more of
like some people, yeah, they don't have access to events, they don't have
Exactly.
access to merch.
exactly.
So I mean, a great way to support things that they love is through whaling, and that's perfectly fine. Again, we're not we keep saying it, like we're not saying whaling is terrible, but it's like there are other things you can do if you have access to it, you know.
Yeah.
And like, and honestly, like sometimes like, yeah, like when people have that kind of mindset, it really is, I want to say it's sad because it's like you don't you really believe that, you know. And
Yeah.
and that means like the next person that you meet or like in person or whatever, you probably aren't gonna say because you're hiding behind a screen, but still you're gonna probably think it, you know.
It's
And again, like whatever you think, that's the type of mentality you have, and it's just unhealthy.
yeah. That's like it really went full circle back to the elitist thing where it's like why do you have to put other people down to put yourself up in something that really doesn't matter like that.
Yeah.
It's just being a fan of an anime, a fan of a game. Like, how are you better than the other person just because you have the accessibility to this certain thing because you're richer, just because of your location?
Like I even know some people who are big fans of certain video games who buy the games pre-owned, you know?
Yeah.
And like oftentimes I know people would be like, "Oh, if you're a big fan, you would buy it new.
You buy the collector's
edition,
limited
limited edition."
edition.
Yeah, exactly.
Days like I don't
Stuff
know,
like that.
Midnight release.
Yeah, midnight release. Camp out for it. I don't know, but like,
Not
so, a lot of the fans that I know, like they get the games pre-owned too.
Yeah.
And people who are even good, like let's say Smash Brothers, for example. I know people who are good at Smash Brothers. They bought the game pre-owned too, and it's like really, like there are other ways you can find to support the things that you love, you know. And even so much as to tweet it with a hashtag. That's why even in Twitter, like Fate Grand Order always has like a giveaway or something. Or like, not a giveaway, but like they have like a
like if you
like a
reach
hashtag.
10K retweets,
Yeah, like retweets and stuff.
we'll give you this or that.
It's a
like,
free method of support, you know?
yeah, because supporting through just social media is a big thing too. Because word of mouth is crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's how we got into the series. We just talked about it because we were exposed by all these like posters, all these like everything, and it was just like, okay, well, this is definitely a big deal. I want to see if I could get into it.
Like even like at conventions, you know how people give out flyers and stuff, and you're just like, you look at it once and sometimes you're just like, you know, like whatever. But like oftentimes like you never know, you might find that one flyer and you're like, oh shit, like this is pretty good, like this might be good.
Yeah.
You know. So it's like, yeah, like again, like it's money doesn't equal support like all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I think I said the like an analogy, but I think it's gonna be a too soon analogy, so I'm not gonna say it. Like just
Too
for,
soon and
like,
just,
just for
God.
the sake, just for the sake of it, like I'm probably not gonna say it.
Okay, I mean,
Just
I mean, if you brought it up, dude, I'm not gonna cut this out. This is
Well,
real
just
shit right
brought
here.
it- Like,
you should probably mention it.
okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I've never bought anything Kobe Bryant in my life,
Mm.
and I cried just as hard as anybody else.
And if
that-
someone were to tell you
yeah,
that if, oh, you don't have a Kobe Bryant jersey, like exactly,
like,
right?
I'd feel like what the
That
fuck?
yeah, exactly.
Like, the hell?
No, yeah, that's real
yeah.
shit. Like
Yeah, that would be a shitty thing to say too. Like if if you're all decked out in Kobe gear and then you see somebody crying about Kobe and they're not as decked out as you are, and then you look down on them, it's like what? Like no, like it's all about the emotional support.
Like, bro,
too.
like,
It's like
Kobe would slap the shit out of you. Like, come on. Like no, but like seriously, like that. There are people like that in this world, and it really is just so sad. Like, I talk about it with a lot of my other friends too. Like, there's elitists everywhere you look, everywhere,
Yeah.
no matter what. I know a lot of people who have like Itashas. Those are the cars with like the anime girls on them
Oh, yeah.
and stuff like that, and they like to flaunt themselves as one of the biggest fans ever. You know, like just because they have a car that they spent thousands upon thousands dollars of
Yeah.
on.
Mhm.
So it's like, I don't know, like again, there's so many different methods. Cosplay, making your own cosplay. That doesn't mean it's not not good, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a way of support because you're basically, I wouldn't say like a walking advertisement. Not, that's so dumb, but it's basically like,
I mean,
like you're cosplaying the character that you love, and it's like you're showing your support with it, and people are gonna be like,
You're
sometimes
ripping
people,
that series.
sometimes people are gonna be like, who are you cosplaying from? And then you tell them, and then that's your way of support. You're bringing more fans in.
yeah, all the overarching point of that entire spiel is that, like, whaling isn't the only way to show your support of a series.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be the smallest things as like tweeting, like bigger things such as buying merch, to like physically making yourself like a part of that series by cosplaying. It's like, or even myself as well. Like just like, okay, so this is a very like, again, I don't want to toot my own horn and sound like a jack. I'm not the biggest FGO guy on YouTube or anything like that for sure, but like somebody in my Discord told me that their first exposure to FGO and how they got into the Fate series was through me. And I was just like, and they felt so grateful about it, and they were thanking me, and we went back and forth about it, and that truly made my day. I was just like, what? Like, that's so weird for me. Like,
No, yeah.
got somebody into a series that they really love to this day. Like, how, like, it's
How did
just
that
weird.
happen? Yeah.
Like, I guess, like, in a very minuscule way, it's similar to, like, even as simple as, like, you have a friend, or like you meet somebody and you recommend them an anime, and then it becomes one of their favorite anime ever. Like, but there's something different about this. It's just, I don't know. It was definitely weird, but in a good way.
No, yeah. It's
when I
one
got
of
that.
those feelings. So I've had people do that too, like people who got into Love Live because of me too.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's it's great because it's like you see them grow too at the same time.
Right.
You see them like start building their own way of support, or
Exactly.
like doing things. Like I have a friend, and she joined an idol dance group recently, and years back, like back in 2013, me and her were associated before, but she saw a post that I made about Love Live,
Yeah.
and she was like, she got into it because of me, and yeah, now she's dancing with an amazing idol dance group, and it's like whenever I think about that, it makes me feel good because it's like, man, like I wouldn't say without me because that's kind of like weird.
No, for sure.
But it's like, in a way too, it's like it is because it's like that's what, like, like she said that.
Like,
know?
eventually that person could have got started, but the fact it started with you is just,
Yeah,
like,
it's amazing.
exactly. That's how I felt. As
Like this
well.
person's grown so much, and it like really like pleases me whenever I watch her, and like really really happy for her.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And this is a very side note, and I'm sure you're watching this because apparently you like watch my shit all the time. But I'm not gonna put, like, well, you said it was okay to talk about this, and this person's actually a mom.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and she's starting to get her daughter, who's like 13, I believe, into the Fate series. As well.
That's so cool.
And I'm just thinking about that. Like, it kind of started with me, and then it's going, like, it's just,
It's passing on to
I
generations.
don't know. It's very weird. It's
That's
like,
pretty dope.
and again, I don't want to toot my own horn. I don't have the biggest channel. Like,
Yeah.
But just, even if it was one person
Mm-hmm.
that like I was able to affect to a certain degree,
Yeah,
even
it
to
could
a
be.
small degree.
It could be
like,
anyone, even family. Like I know Erwin, he got me into Grand Blue Fantasy just recently, and it's like, I'm starting to like really like the game, and I'm like really like want to play the fighting game even, and that's where my brother comes in as well.
it's coming out next week.
So it's like, holy shit! Like I'm already excited. Like we keep joking about it, but like 2020 Grand Blue is undisputed. Like it's for sure.
Yeah, at least within our group. Like,
Yeah.
I guess we're just gonna plug in our Twitch because I'm gonna play on my Twitch. Like, most likely, like, stream that.
Yeah.
Like,
I could put that in the
broad
comments and the
Yeah,
description.
like,
Just let me know.
Like, for the most part, we're gonna stream that next week. But anyways, like,
I might be
Makes
there
sense.
just to be there, but I'm not gonna play it myself. I don't really do fighting games like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So like, I mean, like it all starts with that, like, support comes through that. I think that's the most beautiful way of support, actually, because like when you see someone like genuinely enjoying the thing that you showed them,
Yeah.
and taking it upon themselves to do something with it as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's where it's like
That's insane.
it touches you because it's like, like, who else can you affect? Right?
Yeah.
Like, who else? Like, you never know. Like, especially for you. Like, I'm pretty sure people who are listening to this as well, like, they might even start commenting, be like, "Oh yeah, me too, you know, stuff like that, you know."
Yeah.
And it's like, you're gonna find out, and that's great, you know. Like, it's like it's.
Ooh.
It's a good feeling,
I just
man.
want to say as like a super meta thing, if you've been listening to this whole thing, at least maybe in segments, like maybe like during your break at school or something, like if you are this far deep in and listening to this shit and you're actually going to comment anything, like for the couple of hundred of you guys who are watching, because I know most of my fans are probably not going to watch this because they're going to be like, well, 3 hours, I'm not and I don't even know, yeah, it's very like almost 3 hours. Like he just saw like how long it is. It's a very long podcast. I said this was gonna be long.
Yeah.
But
fuck.
like I was gonna say, like if you're watching this far in, then I really appreciate it. And if you're gonna comment and go into detail about certain things, and like even if you disagree with a bunch of the stuff we said,
like again, like this is like a very cliche thing to do, but do tell us if you've had issues with your group as well.
Yeah, because oh my god, dude.
And like if you know, of course, if protagonist here has touched you or like shown you a lot of things as well, like we want to see that, because of course it's like you guys, what we're going through, I'm sure we're not alone, you know.
No, we're definitely not, because I'm telling you, like I mentioned that one Reddit thread that I like. There's a lot, because I started looking for more. I was like, is there more?
No, there's actually a Facebook group dedicated to just problems like that. Like I think up
for
to
fake grand order or like
no,
gotcha games?
no, specifically fake grand order, like
oh wow,
like a regret, like
no
they
idea.
would like do like paragraphs and paragraphs. I actually follow that group. I think right now they're at their like 300th person just started doing a whole like paragraph of just regrets, like of wailing, like what happened within their group and shit.
Yeah, and
like I have to remember. We'll probably link it.
And keep in mind,
it's not only us.
It's not just us, and it's also not just grand order. Like, because I said this earlier, but I want to stress this really hard. This, whether you want to say it or not, gotcha is gambling. Mm-hmm. So
totally.
We all like know over excess of gambling will lead to some crazy shit. Whether it's like losing your house or something crazy. So
or friends.
Or friends. Just something like that. Friends, family, whatever it is. Or becoming a worse person in general. Like, whether we want to say it or not, gotcha games are the same way, and therefore fake grand orders the same way. So it's just all about being responsible with it. Just slowing down, pacing yourself, making sure you're not affecting anybody else.
And honestly, like, guys, like, all you gotta do really is take a step back. Look back and see if you've done anything that we've mentioned. And just be like, okay, maybe they're probably right. Because honestly, like, there are, like, things that we've done, too. And we're like, oh, shit. We look back at it and we're like, oh, man, I'm in the wrong here.
We're owning up for it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying it right now. I was a resentful child. You mentioned it earlier that we were children.
Yeah.
We were all children. Like, and we all overreacted at certain things. Yeah, but the whole point of this whole story, this whole podcast is that I've moved on from it. He's moved on from it. He's moved on from it. We've grown better as people. We've grown. So we went from these petty children to, like, we might still be playing the game and everything, but now we have a different mindset going into it. We have a different mindset with the community, with the people we talk to, and just, like, everything we do. So it's just all about, like, different mindset. And, like, I don't know if you want to say anything as far as, like, because you're the most recent of, like, getting out, and I know you mentioned that this has been, like, the past months have been just great, especially with Grand Blue Fantasy and everything.
Oh yeah, like moving on from Fate in general, like, of course, like, getting a new community, like having new people with new interests, like again, Grand Blue Fantasy, like, that's a new door for me. Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about, like, me recently getting out of the group, because long story short, when he left when he left the group, like, totally, like I just took it upon myself, because we still had that messenger, like, on Facebook at that time, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah, the original group chat that we talked about.
And I was like, you know what? There's no fucking point in this, because no one's gonna fucking talk. And I was like, I took the whole thing down. And then a year later, I was like, you know what? I'll give this one more chance. If I see change, then we're gonna keep this. If I don't see any change, or if God forbids, like, it got worse, then I'm totally gonna leave this group, because fuck that.
And I wasn't in it.
Yeah. So So long story short, everything became worse. Like
From your perspective.
like
it
from
was
my
worse.
perspective, like and I felt like I was becoming worse. So I was like, I'm not
And
gonna
like,
involve
I
myself.
want
in
to
this
stress,
anymore.
like, these people are probably happy too. And like the way I see it is that me and you leaving or you leaving, we obviously did it for ourselves, but in a way we helped them too because now they could do whatever they want. They don't have to worry about us, which is fine. That the whole idea was just to conclude everything as peacefully as possible.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was the whole point. So they're obviously happy with whatever they're doing. I'm here, like, whatever. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I don't care what they're doing. I'm sure they don't care what I'm doing. Whatever. So it's just like it is what it is. It didn't end with a fight. Never got physical. Nobody ever got cut out of their lives completely. So I feel like this
We just took it upon ourselves to just leave. That's basically what it was.
because in the end of the day, it was just a conflict of personalities. Like you should like people always say opposites attract, like especially when it comes to like relationships, like lovers and shit. But like obviously in this situation, opposites or like different personalities and different morals and stuff just did not mix well together, and I had to like come into terms with that and just leave myself, like because I don't know. I'm sure again people in the comments just
And again, who knows? Like, things could change. I used to think that like things can never change and things should never change, but honestly, like with how we were, when you just look back at things and how happy we were, if we just took out every bad thing, we would have been fine.
Yeah, no.
Definitely,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
100%,
just like
100%.
anything, we would have been fine. And it's okay. Like if like again, we owned up to what we did, right? And it's like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say like you guys should these people should open up. I mean should do the same thing that we did, and own up.
I mean, like I said, the guy who stole, which was like the third strike for me, he apologized.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah,
And like I could forgive the motherfucker. Like it's okay. It's water under the bridge at this point.
Yeah,
It's been almost 2 years. It doesn't matter to me anymore. Like it does not affect me.
To go back to the days where you didn't want to know anything about them, like I was pretty much the only one talking to them about fate, like yeah, he really did own up to that shit.
I
Like,
mean,
like the days he would bring up your name, it would just be about that
See,
situation in
that's
general.
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool. I wish he would have approached me about it.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's
But
totally fair.
in the end of the day, like it is what it is, and like I forgive you. I forgive everybody. Like I don't care anymore. But that doesn't mean like it's all gonna go back fine and dandy as if nothing happened. Like it's still a thing.
See, the thing is, like, we can still talk about this game. We can still hang out. We can still. It's completely fine. It's just, I think what we really needed was to take a look back and take a break
Yeah.
and really like take in what else there is to offer. Because nowadays, if I see you, Whale, like even like I would even go as far as say like again like my biggest fear, I guess, would be for Fate, would be like again Kana Hanazawa character.
Oh yeah.
Like if you guys wail for that shit, I'm like, okay, that's fine. That means they're supporting my waifu. It's Kana Hanazawa.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you know, like
Okay, that's...
like honestly, like it comes to that point where I'm like, it shouldn't affect me in any way. Like even if I don't get her, I'm like okay, that's fine. I have Grand Blue. I have her.
That's true.
I
That's
have
true.
Love Live. I have my waifu in Love Live. I look back at all the other things that I have and I'm like, why am I mad about this one thing? You know? And I'm like, again, like, since there's so many ways to, like, again, we talk about the many ways to support. Look back at those ways and be like, and you would look at all these other things and you would feel less salty. Because you're going to be like, this person probably didn't even, like, retweet this, right? But I did.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
That's a good
no-
point. Yeah.
Or like this person got this servant, but I cosplayed that servant.
yeah, and it's
know?
not to say that like you're better than that person. It just means that like
Anything-
you have your own way of
Yeah.
showing your support.
Anything that'll make you feel better.
yeah,
Feel better. That's all I'm saying. Do it. Because, like, honestly, assault will get you nowhere. Being an elitist will get you nowhere. You just look back at the things. Like, even if it hurts you, like, if someone hurt you about being an elitist, like, with them being an elitist, because that's what I did. Like, again, we'll mention Nero again. where he hurt me. He did. He really did. He genuinely did hurt me. But I look back at my support, and I remember telling you this, and I said,
Yeah,
you know, I looked at my support, and I'm like, I still didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
I looked at it, and I was like, you know what? That's what I have, and that's what I'm proud of.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I did this, and this is what I have. No, he can't tell me. Like, whatever he's telling me, it shouldn't affect me as much as it did, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, that's just how it is. Like, there's so many other ways other things that you can look into. And, like, I'm very proud of, like, let's say, like, even my Nendoroid collection, right? Like, I have a ton of Nendoroids at home, and, like, if I didn't get that particular figure at a convention, it doesn't bother me anymore, you know? I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm so sad, my entire convention is ruined over that one figure.
Yes.
Oh, I see. I see
Okay,
what
yeah,
you're
yeah,
saying.
Yeah, it's, you just look at what you have, and, like, and I know that's pretty cliche. Like, I know a lot of people are like, appreciate what you have, and
We're literally giving like super life lessons about Fate Grand Orders.
I mean,
podcast.
yeah. But like, it's the truth though. Like,
No, yeah,
as
it is.
cliche it is the truth, because you look at what you have and you really do start appreciating what you have, and you look at the world a lot different. You know,
Yeah.
it really is that mentality.
This stream, Jesus, if we were streaming, this would be a horseshit.
Yeah.
This podcast, like, obviously has been going long enough. This is my first podcast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna upload this tomorrow. This is gonna be
Okay,
it's gonna take a while to
yeah,
upload.
and-
So
yeah,
if you
and-
guys have any last words,
Okay, I'll have the last word for this. Like this, like, happy birthday, Rin Tosaka. Because this is gonna be uploaded on her birthday.
yeah,
This was the whole fucking point.
I specifically timed it so it's uploaded at Tosaka Rin's birthday, which is like this even though we didn't really talk about, like, we talked about Ishtar.
Yeah, we talked about Ishtar. Yeah, that's about it.
So
Yeah.
like, I hope you guys somewhat got something out of this. Like, I'm sure there's gonna be people who are on the fence who disagree with a lot of stuff we said, and maybe even go as far as disliking and unsubscribing, which like it would bother me to a certain extent, but at the same time it's like, okay, clearly, like, it's the same kind of thing. Like, we have a difference of opinions, and if we can't live with that, then it's okay for you to walk away. Like, it's totally fine. It comes back to that. So, and for those of you guys who disagree but you're staying, I appreciate you too. Those of you guys who do agree, then hey, I appreciate you just as much. It is what it is. Comment down below. Let me know what you think of this entire podcast. The stank of this entire podcast. Like what we talked about. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Do you have any stories? Anything serious ever happened to, like, this degree? Maybe even more serious. I actually don't know. There might be like worse situations out there. I don't think ours is that, like, because I've read some pretty bad shit.
Yeah, based on what
I've seen some pretty
page.
like crazy shit online, and whether or not those are true, it's like, I mean, I don't know. Assuming they're true, like, it just shows that, like, wow, our group, like, as bad as it was, it could have gotten worse if like if I didn't walk away, if he didn't walk away, whatever. So yeah, just let me know how we did. Let us know if the audio is fine. As far as like technical stuff, was the audio fine? Was there something we need to work on? Should one person talk louder? I don't know. I'm the one in front of the mic. The other two are next to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this setup is gonna work as well. And yeah, just let me know how we did. And if you want, you could put down topics in the comments if you want us to discuss them later in the future. I'm gonna try to make this a monthly thing. I'm not gonna try to make it weekly or anything, because that's a lot, especially since we're at 3 hours in. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe this could be my only podcast ever. So we'll definitely see how it goes.
Yeah, again, do follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Because honestly, like, this year so far has been pretty shit.
Yes.
And
yes, for me
how
and
do you call it?
Definitely.
One of my goals is to make this year even better, and I plan on doing that with my Instagram account, actually.
Yeah.
So if any of you guys want to see that, and like you want to see my progress throughout this year, please do follow me.
Yeah.
I don't offer too much Fate, but I would. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at the same time, I'm like, I still do love Fate still, you know.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of like things on Fate, and I mean, hell, I would even come back to do a podcast too. So if we were ever to talk about Fate, then yeah. You know, I'm here.
I will guarantee this. At least at one point, we will talk about Fate in every podcast just to make sure I'm satisfying those fans. But we were going to talk about a variety of things in future podcasts. Obviously, this one was predominantly Fate.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about other stuff like anime, video games, like pop culture, anything like that. Like
I'm here.
yeah.
And I'm so sorry. Like this first podcast, like is
It's so serious.
It's a bummer one. Like to be honest, but it's like something that we have to get out of the way.
Yep.
For sure.
No, and plus it shows that we're open to opening up.
Yeah,
to
we're
everyone.
open to everything. Yeah, you know that's a good point.
Yeah, people fucking like told me on a live stream that they subscribed to me because I'm like the funniest FGO guy on YouTube, which I appreciate it. But like clearly,
some serious shit.
clearly out of this podcast, this is not the funniest thing you've ever heard. I don't know. Maybe you are laughing your ass off. Like this is some children shit, which is
But
fine.
bro, if you want to see funny,
me
can
and
be funny.
me and Garo are not serious at all. Like
well, you guys
like
know I'm not
IRL,
serious. I'm talking
like,
about anal
like
cavities
IRL,
every day.
Yeah, so yeah.
No, yeah, I can do shit if you want.
Yeah, you can.
We could do some crazy shit. Okay, that's enough. Like the video if you like the podcast. Dislike it if you dislike it. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And of course, follow us on all of our social media accounts, which is linked in the description and in the comments down below.
At DV Tenchi for me.
At Brony Chan. That's a V for the A.
At the Mongrel character on Instagram. And to be honest, it's gonna be really bad on me. But again, link is in the comments. I don't remember my @ for Twitter, but it's there. Yeah. Or you can click on my Discord if you just want to chat and all that stuff. And of course, subscribe to become a supporting character to me, the main character, because like, you know, without you guys, like I'd be the only character, and that's like that would suck, you know.